Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant-Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
We talk about all the biggest games every Monday at 10:30 with Fox Sports analyst Joel Klatt. Presented by MyBookie.ag, promo code NEXTROUND. If it is meaningful at all in college football, we cover it Mondays with Joel Klatt, presented by MyBookie.ag on the Next Round.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season. Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Now on a Tuesday, Tommy already checking in from Southwest Florida. Had somebody in there a little bit earlier that checked in from Wisconsin. Glad to have you in with us, whether you're in the great state of Alabama or anywhere in the world today. This is the next round, LTD&B. Tyler and Forrester, Taylor, Korn, EG, the whole gang up here ready to roll into this Upset Alert Tuesday for Week 10. We'll get to that coming up at 10:30. We got some bitching and moaning from one SEC coach we'll get to. It's a gut check time in the Big Ten. Payton Thorne, Clay Travis on the show. Big game for Auburn. Speaking of gut checks, can they handle Vanderbilt? Little pride game at Jordan-Hare Stadium. We talked about that a little bit on the ride home last night.
I haven't heard any bitching and moaning from a coach. I mean, if I'm just guessing and I don't have to jump, I mean, I don't want you to jump out of script, but I would say Eli Drinkwitz. I'm just guessing.
Okay. No, save it. I didn't sleep a lot. It's going to be one of those shows. And
what was define one of those shows?
Oh, the ones that you love, Brown.
I do. I like it when Jim's got no sleep.
Yeah, no sleep. And do
you notice that when
he's
Jim
punchy?
He's punchy. Jim.
Yeah, I do have
I'm shaking.
Yeah,
I really am.
I do not like no sleep, Lance. I do like no sleep, Jim. Yes.
I will tell you that I've already snapped at one person up here today. I hope he didn't take it wrong. He's a new employee. But
I tell you to go F yourself.
You do not know that Jim does not like his prep work to be interrupted.
Did he come in here when you were?
Yeah, a couple times. And then I did the old.
We'll quickly tell him it doesn't matter. Yeah. You're basically drawing and doodling on how much prep it is.
I mean, Bo knows me. I mean, my God, I've bought 16,000 cars from him. So we spend a lot of time together. But when I get behind, there's certain marks on the show that I at least have to have all the sponsors written down before the show starts. Everything else can happen. But I had to ask Taylor. I said, was that a little too harsh?
Yes. The answer is generally yes.
It always is yes.
It's always yes.
So I apologize, Bo. I'll do it personally if I ever get out of this chair. But we start with basketball last night before we get into football because it was just such a wonderful trip up there last night to
don't oversell it.
No, it really was. I mean, I enjoy our time together. I mean, look at that crew there. I mean, I don't know how many more. Look how old I am. I don't have any more of these. We've got pictures together.
Oh, you could be dead tomorrow.
I just noticed this morning when Little T sent that out, the Louisville, for whatever reason, this Alabama fraternity that loves Louisville, and they're behind us throwing up the L's. I don't know what is going on here.
Do you think that's what it is? That's those fraternity guys, the same ones?
Yeah. I mean, who else is standing behind us throwing up the Louisville L?
Why could be Lank? That's become the adopted Alabama symbol.
Is that Lank?
Unless Miller has a bad day, and
then
I think they're doing this.
Oh, okay.
It could be. These guys are a bunch of losers.
Yeah,
like point us.
They're telling us we're the losers.
Yeah,
that's possible.
It could be. It could be a gang sign up.
Could be. I have no idea. But I'm glad they were there.
Yeah, it was a good crowd last night, and we got to see a basketball game that lasted about as long as a football game.
That was a long one.
You don't get many 2 hour, 48-minute basketball games.
I would say the majority of people that are watching or listening did not watch or listen last night, and we were told immediately, or not immediately, a couple of minutes into the game, the official said, you know what, there's going to be no foul outs. Anthony Hardaway and Nate Oates met at midcourt, and they have decided that nobody's going to foul out. And I was like, well, that sounds fun. And the guy immediately said, for who?
Yeah, the referee probably doing his second game of the year.
Yeah, just assumed at that point they would swallow whistle. And it was the complete opposite. We had 96 free throws attempted. On the way home, I had to Google and find out the most free throws ever attempted in a college basketball game. That wasn't even close. Was 150-something Northern Arizona and Arizona back in 1953.
In the 50s. Did you think the basketball in the 50s was that physical? I mean, my goodness.
No.
But Taylor Korn with us last night on the trip up. You saw all of us and EG on the broadcast, but Taylor with those highlights you just saw there from the baseline. And there's before she leaves Huntsville, Taylor, little frizzy-haired, and Brown asked, Taylor, you going to sleep on the way home? Nah, she didn't sleep that much on the way home, actually, by Taylor's standards.
No, she did on the way up, though. I mean, we weren't even...
I couldn't tell.
No, we weren't on the Red Mountain Expressway, and I was about to say something to her, and I glanced over my shoulder. She was out like a light. And I was like, geez, I don't even think we've been on the road 5 minutes yet.
I think I slept more on the way up than I did. Afternoons are rough for me.
But there we are on the big screen, something we cut here.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, that was about 2 hours before the game. Crowd was much better than that. But thank you to the Huntsville sports folks, the Sports Association, who that guy right there, by the way, on maternity leave right now. I love America that some dads are able to take a couple of weeks off with a newborn baby.
But he came to a game.
Yeah, well, he brought his wife. It was mom's first night out.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you like that relationship?
Yeah,
Mom's first night out.
Yeah.
He's a big Braves fan, and I got asked multiple times, what are you doing here with Game 3 of the World Series going on?
And your answer was?
Well, and I said, look, we committed to this months ago, not knowing really how this thing would fall. Really didn't think the Dodgers would be in the World Series, much less a Game 3. The good news is they were up 2-0. I know we'll get to the World Series in a little bit. But talking about Freddie Freeman, I told him, I was like, Freddie's already hit another bomb. And he's like, oh, God, I hate to hear that.
Freddie's already hit another bomb. He has. We'll get to the World Series right here. But thank you to everybody up there. Brown, your buddy who sort of got us hooked up with the Huntsville Sports. He runs it, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. Joe Lamp, former college classmate of mine there at Jacksonville State. What?
I was about to call him Drape. I knew it was something
Drape?
to do with
No,
it's
old Lamp. I can
not
tell
Drape.
Lamp would be a fun, just having small conversations, he would be a fun guy to hang out with.
Lampshade, me, and the crew had some fun times at Jacksonville State. I will not deny. And he's a good dude, does a great job there at the Huntsville Sports Commission. So we always appreciate being involved in that event. It's been fun. That brings an end to our play-by-play for the year, I do believe. We did,
Maybe forever.
We did. Yeah, you never know.
You do not know that.
What else would we do?
I'm just telling you, there are a lot of NCAA tournament games.
Yeah, the CBS might need somebody for it.
Yeah, it could be you.
The CBI.
It could be Brown on play-by-play, Lance as an analyst, EG sidelines, and that Sparknuckle guy in place of me. And that'll be one of the crews from the East Regional. What's his name?
Jim Spinarkle.
Spinarkle. He only shows up for March Madness. That guy's in a closet for 11 months.
Where's this dude been?
Yeah.
He's only doing the most important games of the year.
I never see him on any other call in basketball.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you?
No, and the same with Ian Eagle.
Yeah, he's at least doing some NBA. You know?
Like Ian Eagle's kid does more than he does.
Yeah, but I at least see him crawl out every now and then.
No, it's almost like they're...
Well, the thing is,
But
like
the Spinarkle guy, what's his name?
Jim Spinarkle.
Spinarkle. I never hear him until we get there.
Yeah, it's like they got them packaged up, and they they put batteries in them and
He's AI.
roll them out for March. Yeah,
It's March.
Yeah. Fire him up, man. And all of you that said nice things about our show and wanted to take pictures with us last night, thank you so much. It just means a lot to us when we get out and about. And for if you want to talk serious basketball, I thought Alabama looked better against Wake Forest. The team picked third in the ACC than they did last night. Memphis tried to drag Alabama down in the mud and mucked up that first half a little bit. I don't think Nate, when he was talking to EG postgame, I don't think he was in love with the way they played defense. Part of that was they got to play defense without fouling so much, and that got to be a really foul-driven game at one point.
yeah. Look, Alabama's going to be elite, and that's the expectation coming off Final Four. It's one of the reasons they're the preseason number 2 team. They've got the preseason Player of the Year in Mark Sears. Again, grinds out another, 35, 36 minutes.
It's insanity, man. In the preseason, the dude plays almost the whole game.
Penny Hardaway has not done a good job with this program, but I do think what he has brought in when it all comes together, they've got a lot of talent. Ton of athletes, Memphis typically does, but the problem was Memphis last night is they couldn't hit a basket.
Yeah, can't shoot a three.
But I do think, Lance, they'll eventually get a little better offensively, and they play so well defensively.
Yeah.
I think they'll be a handful in the
I do
American.
too.
UAB's picked to win the American. They're picked second. I think they're
Very close.
It's a handful. Yeah,
Very
it's
close
very
in that
close.
voting,
The people that cover the American think UAB and Memphis are almost identical. Memphis just got around into shape on offense. They play hard defensively. I mean, Penny gets a lot out of them defensively, and they're an athletic team, and they got a couple big guys that can create some issues for you in the paint.
Oh, yeah.
And again, no Grant Nelson last night for Alabama. He'll be a starter. Youngblood, the Tuscaloosa guy who was the American Conference Co-Player of the Year.
Probably a starter.
He's probably a starter at least early into the rotation.
Reitzel might be a starter. I mean, those three guys have not played a preseason game, and Bama has scored 98 and 96.
That's right. That's right. A field of 68 guys who watched our broadcast last night.
Yeah.
They said they watched the game, so there was nowhere else to watch it, right?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah. So basketball.
They probably put mute.
Yeah. I'll listen to Monday Night Football.
Probably more annoying than us would be the whistles.
And that rim, man, we had that rim mic'd up.
Every time Memphis shot.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's like, your mic sucks, but boy, I tell you what, we got the quality mics on the rims.
Hey, he went that one dunk in the first half. You heard him scream right at the microphone as he was dunking.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, that is mic'd up.
That's right. Got them rim mics kicking.
But they were talking about how Alabama's offense is just going to be elite. You expect that. And they were questioning last night the defense coming out of that game. But I thought it was hard. I enjoyed it because we saw two different styles Alabama play against two teams that attacked them differently, and they handled both of them well. That's the kind of stuff you'll end up getting as you approach the NCAA tournament. It all starts for real next week, Monday night. You get UAB and Auburn's openers. Wednesday is Alabama's opener, so the games count starting Monday. I think Auburn has their final exhibition Friday night. Little T will be there covering that for us down at Neville and against Florida Atlantic, I believe, in a charity game, former Final Four team, and then we roll into real games coming up. But it's football season, and we'll jump in to what's going on in college football in this segment, the World Series and Monday Night Football. After we get going here, Lance's Lock last night, played those games last evening, and then you can jump in starting tonight with more college football and more baseball. Tell us about Hemphill and the Lock.
Yeah, not a great night with the Lock. We had the under in Game 3 of the World Series. We got that. We had the Rockets. We lost that game by a point. Our third NBA game we've lost in the first week of the NBA season by a combined 2 points. Basketball, I've told you before, Brown, you got to have a stomach for it.
Yeah, it's an iron constitution.
Yeah,
is what you need
boy,
for that.
it comes down to it sometimes. And then we had the New York Giants, who gave up a 73-yard punt return. They forced a fumble with 4.5 left, of course. Then they fumble. Then Daniel Jones throws a pick. They lose by 8, getting 6. So 1-2 last night. Not a great night, but an incredible week. And we start out strong tonight with more college football. We've also got the NBA, and we've got Game 4 of the World Series at lanceslock.com. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemphill Services. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling issues. They are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
And our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing, stormrestorationroofing.com if you want to check out the website. But I tell you just about everything you need to know right here about Greg from Pell City and his family-owned business, locally owned for over 20 years. They are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. They'll give you a free quote, and a free evaluation as well. That free no-cost roof inspection is where you need to start with Greg. No obligation. He'll get on your roof and tell you what's going on up there. One loose shingle can cause a problem, or maybe your roof is aged out, or maybe it's got 4 or 5 more years. You got no problem up there. Greg will crawl down off that ladder and say, hey, man, your roof is fine. Call me again in about 3 years, and I'll come back and check it again for you. 205-542-3531. 205-542-3531, or just look him up on Facebook, Greg from Pell City at a Storm Restoration Roofing. You were talking about that Monday Night Football game. Nothing is more automatic in sports right now than Pittsburgh on a Monday night. 22 straight home wins on Monday Night Football. When they're at home on Monday night, it is a lock.
Yeah, and Russell Wilson's playing pretty good football. 20 of 28 last night, 278, a touchdown.
Bad fumble at the end when
Bad
you're trying to put the game
at the
away.
end, you're
Yep.
right, and they pressured Russell last night. But the Pittsburgh Steelers now 6-2. They are your outright leader in the NFC North, which is pretty incredible when you think about. The Bengals have kind of stumbled a little bit in a bad outing this past weekend. But, Baltimore, after starting 0-2, found their footing, and then they got upset this week against Cleveland. But that's a really good division. And for Pittsburgh to be 6-2 right now, and I don't think they're that good. I think their defense is really good.
Yeah.
I just don't trust this offense at
I'm
all.
with you.
TJ Watt can change a game like he did at the end last night.
I mean, TJ Watt is just fantastic. Had the 2 sacks, 7 tackles. He's a game changer. And, you've got to account for him. And the New York Giants and Brian Daboll, who, by the way, is not long for this world, is the head coach of the New York Giants.
Not likely, no.
Left out, I forgot who the tackle was, on an island a couple of times, and that didn't go well.
Yeah.
The one of my neighbors down in the cul-de-sac they're from Pennsylvania, massive Steelers and Penn State fans, and he tells me he laughs because they've got the family thread. He's got 4 kids, and some of them have married off, and I mean he showed me one day the family text thread during a Steelers game. And like every other text is, we got to bench whichever quarterback's playing.
Yeah.
Fields, Wilson, got to go to Fields.
Get our defense back on the field.
Yeah,
as a Rams fan, I'm like, come on, get them off the field. Let's get Stafford back out there. Pittsburgh fans are like, let's get Russell off the field.
And I'm
maybe TJ can pick up a fumble and we'll score that way.
I'm like, is this every game? Because it's every single game. The entire family thread wants the quarterback benched, but that's where the Steelers are right now. But somehow, and it's the way this franchise has been for a long time, they find a way to 6-2. I mean,
one way, Brownie, is former Alabama running back Najee Harris. He's gone over 100 yards now for 3 straight games. A Hundy in the NFL is not a given, man.
No.
I mean, you get a Hundy in the NFL, that is a day running the football.
Yeah, especially when you don't have a really stout passing attack.
That's right.
And defenses can play the run a little bit better.
Yeah, I did think Pittsburgh needed to go out and get a compliment to George Pickens. They just don't have that. Frymuth is a good tight end.
You thought Kupp was in the mix.
Yeah, I thought Cooper Kupp was definitely in the mix, and I think after the Rams won this past week, and look, we'll see. We've only got a couple of hours left to see what happens with the deadline. But you start to look at Pittsburgh, big game coming up. They've got a bye after the short week, so they don't play again until the 10th at the Commanders. It's quite the game there. Then they host the Ravens. So they've got a lot still coming up, but this Pittsburgh team, I've been pleasantly surprised they're 6-2.
Yeah, and then there was the World Series last night. Payton Thorne, next segment, college football in a moment. In the World Series last night, Dodgers win it again, 4-2. The game wasn't as close as it was because Freddie Freeman homered again, 3 straight home runs.
And that was early, top of the first. They got out 2-0, and that was huge for Walker Buehler. And Buehler goes out, only gives up a couple of hits, 5 Ks, 2 walks. The exact performance Dave Roberts needed out of Walker Buehler.
And I think I saw a stat today. Jace is asking, is Buster on tomorrow regardless of outcome?
Sure.
You jinxed us.
I did. I don't know what
week.
I was thinking. No, I misread the schedule like I do all the time. And for some reason, I was thinking, even if it was a sweep, it wouldn't end until Wednesday. I don't know why I had the days wrong.
Yeah.
Didn't make any sense. So that's why I was like, we're guaranteed to have Buster next Wednesday.
But there was no way these two star-studded teams, there was going to be a sweep.
I didn't think so either.
Yeah. But here we are.
But here we are. We're on the verge of a sweep here. We'll put Buster on Wednesday either way. I mean,
we should have known.
Buster.
The graphic that went out, the last 10 times, 5-5. The last 30 times, 15-15.
Yeah.
The last 50 times, 25-25. This is the most evenly matched World Series we've ever had. Well, what happens there? Dodgers go up 3-0.
And I saw a stat this morning that since 1970 in the World Series, when it's 3-0, it never makes it past Game 5. Is that possible?
It's possible.
Yeah, I think I saw that correctly. That since 1970 in the World Series, that it started out 3-0, like we're at right now with the Dodgers. It never goes past Game 5.
Well, it was,
which means this doesn't go back to L.A. It would take the Yankees winning 2 straight just to get this back to L.A.
It would.
I mean, you don't feel good about that right now.
No. I mean, again, you've had in the history of 7-game series, only in 2004 did the Red Sox come back from 3-0.
You know who's getting roasted today is Giancarlo Stanton for trying to. Have y'all seen that? Him trying to run home? He is so freaking slow, and he gets gunned down at the plate. And some of the memes that are on Twitter or the GIFs that are on Twitter are hilarious of him trying to get home. I did not realize Giancarlo Stanton was that slow.
I don't think he's that slow.
Oh, but you got to see the video. Is he hurt?
I don't think so.
I mean, you got to see the video.
And a couple of ghosts on his back.
It takes him forever to get from third to home.
Aaron Judge, another 0 for night. Now 140 in the postseason.
He's creating nothing but a breeze in New York right now.
And the Freddie Freeman story is really amazing because there was a doubt that maybe his ankle wouldn't be healthy enough.
He's going to win the MVP, right?
He's going to win the MVP. Yeah, I don't know how he doesn't. Unless this thing stretches out to 6 or 7 and you have somebody flip back around. But right now, I mean, he is a massive favorite to win the MVP of the World Series. And, going back to the 2021 World Series against the Astros, where he homered in those final 2 games, he's now homered in 5 consecutive World Series games. That's pretty amazing, man. That's Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, Lance gave me that stat last night coming home from Huntsville. I was like, man, that is hard to believe. It obviously goes back to his days with the Braves. 5 consecutive World Series games with a home run. I mean, we called Reggie Jackson Mr. October for those types of stats.
I mean, I would ask you this, like how many percentage of players in Major League Baseball history have had a home run in 5 consecutive games? 1%?
Yeah.
5 consecutive?
Yeah, maybe lower than 1%.
Yeah. It's got to be small.
Scott is showing us Giancarlo Stanton getting roasted. I mean, we can't show the actual Stanton video because of copyright issues, but my God, I've never seen anybody run so slow.
Yeah.
I mean, Sid Bream was faster trying to get to home for the Braves. Sid was running on no legs.
Brooks asked exactly what Brown asked me.
I asked this, yes.
Last night. Is Freddie Freeman a Hall of Famer? Freddie Freeman is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
100%, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I suck at that on the borderline guys. So you say he's not even borderline, Freddie Freeman?
I mean,
He's won batting titles, right?
He's not a first ballot guy.
He's won batting titles, right?
Freddie, I mean, he literally is a 300 career hitter. Like, 300.
That's pretty good.
Like, not 301, not 302. He is a 300 career hitter. 343 or 343 home runs, 1,200 plus RBIs. Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer.
Can he? I mean, he'll play long enough to get to 400 homers, right?
He should, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think that would get you in. Hit 300, 400 homers, couple rings.
And, you know, it's voted on by the baseball writers.
They love him.
And they love him.
Love him.
Yeah. So it works out good. Okay, a little college football before we get to Payton Thorne. That's what we saw last night. A couple of games tonight. Louisiana, Texas State, your best game, 6:30, ESPN2, with Sunbelt Championship implications in that one. If you want to see a great place to enjoy trivia on Wednesday, music at one of the locations or both locations this weekend, go to our friends at Odie's.
Odie's Tavern, 2 locations, the original in Crest Lane, which we will be at tomorrow night, me, Brown, and Will Haver, doing a little Odie's team trivia. The newest location in Edgewood, you can get the great food either location as the fall continues to unfold here. That chili is going to be rolled out from Rodney Davis. Of course, award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches, ice-cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. 2 locations. Stop in, see Will Haver and that great staff, Odie's Tavern. He has won an MVP, too.
Yeah, he's going to be World Series MVP, overall MVP in his career, and 2 rings. If he gets to 400 homers, I don't know how you keep him out.
Yeah, Gold Glove, 3 Silver Sluggers. Yeah,
and you're right. He's a liked guy, so it makes it an easier vote.
So he's about to be another champion. Before LT tells us about Grays, because we got early Deadwood here on the show.
Already?
Johnny Boy is correct. Auburn opens Wednesday, Jim. You should pay attention to the best team in the state as closely as you do the second best team. That is according to your favorite, when it favors Alabama, Ken Palm. I got those backwards. Monday's opening night for Alabama and UAB. Wednesday is opening night for Auburn in basketball next week. That's a little Deadwood brought to you by our friends at Grays Tree Service. That'll clean up the deadwood in your yard.
Hey, deadwood is dangerous. That's just the fact. It's dangerous to your property, whether it's fencing, structures, family, pets. Make sure you get that deadwood extracted. Family owned and operated for over 25 years right here in Birmingham. They are experts in high-risk tree removals, pruning, soil health treatment to strengthen those trees and plants. Grays maintains a fleet of specialized cranes and lifts to get the job done right. Prevent damage to your home. You've probably seen them rolling around town. I had them come out a few months ago. Make the call that I made, 205-281-6100. You can scan that QR code that Scotty's got up there on the screen, or just visit graystree.com.
Okay, so here is an amazing conversation piece that I saw this morning. I do not have the facts to back it up. Maybe LT or Brownie can find it for me real quickly. But according to everyone on the college football Reddit last night, betting odds on who gets fired first now has flipped in the state of Florida, that Mike Norvell now has better betting odds to be fired before Billy Napier gets fired.
Well,
is that a possible
I've got a 4 down
trend?
coming up with Florida coaches, and I don't have Mike Norvell in it.
I think... Could this, do you think Napier's done enough to stave it off this year?
I do.
I personally think he has.
I think so. They've played improved football, right?
I think it is important this weekend in the cocktail party to play Georgia close.
Don't get blown out.
Yeah, don't lose 42-3.
And then maybe if they can pick off one of those games down the stretch,
I think they will.
That'll get them bowl eligible.
Hey, they're going to pick off Florida State.
Well, Florida State's are going to win. Where are they right now? They're at 4 or are they at 5?
4-3.
They're 4, yeah. So if you get one you're not supposed to, and then Florida State, which I think right now you should.
That gets you to a bowl.
That gets you to a bowl.
And he
which
should be fine.
Yeah. Which, I think in looking at his schedule preseason, we thought would have him in Coach of the Year discussion.
Here's my only problem with Mike Norvell, and it's been a disaster. But, year one, and he inherited kind of a mess. 3-6.
Real bad mess.
To 5-7. To 10-3. to 13-0, eventually losing that bowl game. So you saw a progression. Now the bottom has completely fallen out. So has he given back everything in 1 year? I don't think you can.
You can't.
But not enough to get fired.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's given a lot. I mean, I just, with this, what I think is his buyout number,
That's what I was going to say. And more importantly, Florida State doesn't have the money to fire him.
I mean, Florida State's trying to raise enough money to pay a buyout to get out of the ACC.
Yeah, where they can fire their coaches.
I mean, I just don't understand this line of thinking. I mean, first of all, the guy is 1 year removed from having a college football playoff team if his quarterback doesn't get hurt. There was nothing Mike Norvell could do about that. But nobody's going to deny if Jordan Travis was healthy, they get in front of Alabama, right?
Oh, there's no doubt. And they deserve to with Jordan Travis. And I think they could have made some noise in the playoff with Jordan Travis. It happened with Avery Johnson when he was the NBA Coach of the Year with the Mavericks, and the very next year he was fired. NBA, you can understand that. This guy and Mike Norvell was the Paul Bear Bryant National Coach of the Year last year.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think we've ever. Well, I guess Gene Chizik, right?
Yeah, Gene Chizik was in 2010.
Yeah,
He was
but
out in 2012.
Yeah, but he did have a buffer year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, if he has another year like this in 2025, I get it.
Well, I mean, I think they're looking at 2-10. Like, they play North Carolina Saturday, who's playing improved football.
Toss up, though.
Yeah,
Toss up.
Carolina's -2.5.
Yeah.
I don't feel good about either way. That's one of those games. Good luck.
They're at Notre Dame.
That's a loss.
Notre Dame's
That's a
playing
loss.
really good right
Yeah.
now.
Charleston Southern, you ought to be able to get a win unless you're just completely deflated. And then that Florida game. So 3-9, 2-10.
Doesn't look good.
It does not look
Yeah.
good. And
The only way it's on the table is if he was a really big a-hole.
yeah.
In this whole Alabama's calling me. I need this. I need this. I need this. I need this.
Maybe he was.
Yeah, and that's the only way. That's the only way you burn bridges with boosters and stuff that have enough money to come and buy you out. But I don't think they have the money to do it. And I don't even think if they had all the money in the world, if they had Texas money, if they had Texas A&M money.
Well,
I don't think you'd get rid of him at this point.
I do believe his name was circulating amongst a short list when Alabama hired Kalen DeBoer. And Bama fans, there were a few that wanted Norvell. You guys will remember this when we go back. I mean, the majority of people, it seemed like, wanted Lane Kiffin. Help me if I'm wrong there.
Of those two, Norvell
Dan
and
Lanning.
Yeah, Norvell and Kiffin. I think Kiffin was the more popular choice.
Yeah, but Norvell was mentioned out there.
He was 63.7 million. Sorry, Lance, is what USA Today says the buyout is right now.
No chance.
I mean, you're
You probably
approaching.
could talk him down to 51.
You're approaching Jimbo Fisher numbers at that point.
You are.
And it's, they structure these things over a long time. That's still a hefty check to have to cut each month.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
but
need
what would
check.
you guys settle for? Like, Florida State fans hate you now. Like, I just won an ACC championship for you. You already hate me. I'll take $35 million and I'll walk.
Yeah, if you give it to me all right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, in cash.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it hard on you.
In 20s.
20s. Just stack it in my driveway. I'll get it in the house.
Yeah. All right. There's a little college football. We'll talk to Payton Thorne about Auburn hosting Vandy. And can Payton Thorne beat Diego Pavia this time around? We'll talk about that. Hugh Freeze says they're not looking at last year's New Mexico State tape.
Well, I wouldn't. You got plenty of Vanderbilt tape that's actually better.
Yeah, you got some Vandy tape to look at. So we'll talk to Payton about that game coming to Jordan-Hare Stadium. Good to be back home for the Auburn Tigers this weekend. Peyton's on the other side. Show being brought to you by a couple of great folks. One of those is our friends at HydroLive. Tell us about HydroLive.
Yeah, a great place to go to get hydrated. Not only that, the IV therapy, B12 injections, compression therapy. You've got the weight loss therapy now. Make sure you stop into one of those great locations. If you can't make it by, they can actually send a nurse to your home or business. Very important. You mentioned the next round, 20% off all of those great services. 2 locations in Birmingham, Homewood, Highway 119 in Greystone. Also a Tuscaloosa location. Ask about memberships. Memberships, basically, you recoup that membership fee in one visit with the free IV bag every single month. For more information, hydrolivetherapy.com.
Right now at my house, one of Brad Bell's crews from A+ Tile Home Remodeling. They are putting down some hardwoods in some areas of our house there. So that just shows you Brad does a lot of things. We talk about the master bath he did at my house. In fact, one of the members of the crew was like, hey, we did your bathroom, and I hope you're liking it. And I was like, man, we absolutely love it. I cannot tell you what great work you guys did. Master bath, kitchen, master bedroom, closets, that's Brad's specialty. But he'll do anything in your house, just like I'm saying. He's laying hardwood at my house right now. Brad Bell, A-plus tile home remodeling. When it came time to do our bathroom, Jennifer Brown, my beautiful wife, scoured the internet looking for the right person for the job. She talked to contractors, read reviews, people that had used contractors. She picked Brad Bell. I'm glad she did. He did tremendous work. 205-422-1758. Brad Bell, A-plus tile home remodeling. 205-422-1758. Auburn quarterback Payton Thorne is next.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at jimdunaway.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters. It is the will to prepare to win." Hi, I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryant Bank, and I can tell you that our Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that is right for you. At Bryant Bank, we specialize in community banking and offer personal and business loans, checking and savings account, mobile banking, and treasury management services. Stop by one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama to find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service. Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Happy football season. At The Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Our friends at Milo's Hamburger invites you to join them in the fight against hunger in our local communities by bringing non-perishable food items to your local Milo's, including canned goods. When you donate a canned good or any non-perishable food item, Milo's will give you a free drink. Together, we can make a difference.
All right, rolling into a weekend where, wait for it, Auburn gets to play in this cool stadium called Jordan Hare Stadium.
Road game?
they get to wear these rare uniforms. They blue tops. They get to wear the blue tops this weekend.
Payton Thorne is the Auburn quarterback. He joins us this time each week on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. You get all the Auburn coverage at thebarnauburn.com. Join for $1. A lot of free content there on The Barn Auburn YouTube page as well, thebarnauburn.com. What is up, Payton? How are you today?
Not too much. I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Doing great. First of all, let's go back to Saturday. I mean, this team has been through a lot. You guys have had a bunch of tough, close losses. To get a win on the road, take me in that locker room. What was it like just to celebrate a win finally?
Yeah, it was fun for sure. Obviously, like you said, we've been waiting to come out on the right side of one of these things. And obviously, getting a win on the road in the SEC is always a good thing. It's never easy. And so I'm feeling good about that. Obviously, our defense played outstanding. Offensive line did a great job. And Jarquez obviously had a huge game. So a lot of positives to look at. And as always, there's things to clean up. But coming out with a victory is always a good thing.
And, it's going to be easy for fans to say, just get Jarquez the damn ball. I mean, I know it's not just that easy. But when he goes for 278, it does look easy.
Yeah, absolutely. You hand it off to him and he breaks 3 tackles, and it takes 5 guys to get him to the ground. Obviously, that always looks good.
Tell me about him as a teammate, because you're the leader of the team, of the offense, but you're a captain as well. What has he been for this program for your 2 years there? Because he doesn't always get the touches he probably thinks he deserves. Is he loud about that? Is he a good leader? Tell me about him as a teammate.
Yeah, he's a really quiet guy. You got to really get to know him to hear from him. I guess you could say. He's a quieter guy, but like I said, when you get to know him, he's a fun guy to be around. And so he's a really hard worker. Like I say to everybody, he's extremely strong, and you see that in the weight room and the way that he works. There's a reason that he's that strong. It's not just God given. He's worked for that, and so. He's a great guy to be around, and he's fun to compete with because, he plays hard.
But to Lance's point, Payton, I mean, he had 19 carries against Missouri for only, I think it was 57 yards. So 23 carries Saturday night for a ton of yards. I mean, what was the difference there? Was it just one of those games? Did you guys just find a deficiency in Kentucky's defense you exploited? I mean, what was the difference?
Yeah, I thought we had a good plan going into the game for the different fronts that they were going to give us, and getting to those runs and a couple of in-game adjustments to change up a couple of things in the check game, and just getting those runs. Obviously, me having the ball in my hands, doing my best to give it to him when I'm supposed to give it to him, pull it when I'm supposed to pull it. And then obviously when he got the ball, our offensive line was doing a great job. And then when I had to carry it a couple of times too, I told him on one play, we got to the huddle, I said, guys, that was the biggest running lane I've ever had in my career. That was something else, and we kind of laughed about that. So the offensive line, like I said, did a great job. They played physical. They did a good job executing what they needed to do, and obviously Jarquez did the rest. He had a lot of dirty runs where he got contacted early and made got 10, 15 yards after contact. And then also, like I said, he had a couple runs where he was untouched. So it was a good job all around.
Payton Thorne is with us here on the next round as we continue our conversation. Vandy, early game, 11:45. Jordan Hare coming up this weekend. I want to ask you, you got a coach that doesn't make the trip up there because of whatever was going on with his digestive tract. You're in meeting rooms. You guys are together a lot. Is something running through the team right now? Is everybody healthy? Because we know we're a small company up here. We get one guy with that, and the next thing you know, we're dropping like flies up here. Are you good? Everybody else good for the week?
Yeah, I'm good, and everybody else is good as far as I'm aware. So I guess we'll see at practice if anybody's missing today. We'll get an update on that.
Did you, after a big touchdown, you went over there? Were you hesitant to give him 5? Yes. I'm good, Coach. I'm good.
Yeah, I didn't know what the heck he had. I just knew he wasn't there at walkthrough, and I was, obviously there was a reason for that, and nobody really knew until Friday night, and then, found out he was going to be there for the game Saturday morning. So, I really had no idea what he had until I was texting with him on Saturday morning.
Do y'all have a plan? For whatever reason, if he couldn't, keep food down or whatever, who's the voice in the ear at that point for you?
Honestly, I don't know. We didn't really talk
they
about
didn't
it.
have a plan, Dunaway.
So you didn't have a plan.
I guess, Coach Freeze told them, hey, I'm going to be good. I'm going to be there. So we didn't really get into all that. And obviously playing at night helped us too.
Did you know that your former coach or your current coach, you were probably in high school or in the Big Ten, has coached a game in a dental chair and coached a game in a hospital bed?
I did not know a dental chair. I'm sure there's quite the story behind that one, but I do know a hospital bed. And I remember seeing that on ESPN whenever it happened. Obviously I didn't know Coach Freeze at that time, but I was like, man, what in the world? Like, that is a very unique situation.
Halloween this week, if you and your tight ends get together and somebody puts you in a hospital bed and they wheel you in on a gurney, I think that'll make him laugh.
That's probably not a bad idea. We might have to cook that up.
Dunaway, I think it would be great. Dunaway brought up the fact you guys have got Vanderbilt. To me, maybe the best three-loss team in college football. Their 3 losses by a combined 10 points. They take Texas to the wire. They've already beaten Alabama. When you look at them, and like, we're not the professionals, but just as spectators watching from the couch, nothing really pops. They play really good team sound defense, but when you're watching them on film, what do you see from this Vanderbilt defense?
Yeah, what you said is exactly right. They play well together. A lot of the guys are back from last year. They got a couple new faces, but you can tell that they know what they're trying to do. They obviously have worked it over and over and over again, and they're where they're supposed to be just about all the time. And so they're going to be sound up front. They're going to be in their gap. In the secondary, they're going to be in their zone. And when they do play man coverage, they're going to be technically sound. So they're a team that they're not going to beat themselves, and so you're going to have to go out there and earn it. And obviously, like you guys said, they've been playing good football this year, and they're a good team.
Auburn quarterback Payton Thorne for a few more moments. Do you know Diego Pavia? Do you know him at all?
I do not. Obviously, we played against him last year, but I don't know anything about him. I've never met him, so. Nothing there.
I'm sure. I just wonder from watching him, though, as a quarterback, you've got to respect him. The guy's just tough. It's just like whatever he needs to do, he does. The numbers don't blow you away, but, he's just making winning plays for his team.
Yeah, no doubt. You obviously always have respect for a guy who plays with toughness and a guy who is just going to go out there and compete. And so the couple of times that I've been able to see Vandy play this year, and I heard him talk after one of the games or something like that, and seems like the kind of guy that you want to go out there and compete next to. I have respect for guys that play hard and that are tough, and he seems to be one of those guys. So definitely respect him and what he's done, and so it'll be good to play against him this weekend.
Vanderbilt's been a great story, maybe the biggest story in college football, though. Indiana at 8-0, your former conference, and I'm just wondering, because there's people like this guy over here, Dunaway, that are pulling against Indiana for no reason.
Them? You just doubt them. Are you pulling against them?
I'm a brand guy. I'm sorry.
I did want to ask you, how good can that East Lansing crowd be? You played in front of it a lot.
They're up there. I enjoy my time at Michigan State, and the fans definitely show up. And when they do, it gets pretty loud. I'll put Michigan State, I'll put Spartan Stadium up there as, top 5, 6, 7 loudest that I've played in. And obviously it wasn't as loud when I was on offense, but there were a couple of times I remember in big games when we scored, and it was loud in third down and stuff like that. That crowd can definitely get going.
Okay, so it's SEC like.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely louder than some of the places that I've played down here, and it's no small atmosphere by any means.
Yeah. See, we're not the kind of show that would ask you to name us places in the SEC that it's louder than, because
Kroger Field. You were there Saturday.
Correct.
And that man's got a Kroger card.
That's right. That's right.
The best Halloween candy, Payton Thorne, is what?
Oh man. When I was like 6, I'd probably say candy corn, but I think I've outgrown that one. So probably Snickers, maybe. I'd maybe go with Snickers.
Very basic Snickers.
Yeah, very basic.
Yeah, that's what Payton Thorne goes. That's a handoff up the middle right there. That's very basic. Well, listen, good luck against Vandy. We appreciate the time as always. We'll catch you next week.
Thanks, guys. See them.
And if you dress up like the hospital bed,
yes.
got to shoot that out.
Please
Send us a
video.
picture.
Please video.
All right, sounds good.
All right, thank you. I don't know if he's really considering it. I couldn't tell, but I hope so. That is a tremendous Halloween costume.
I mean, we know they've got a great relationship. I'm sure he would take it straight.
That wouldn't affect it at all.
I don't have to tell Taylor this, but I'll say it just in case we've all forgotten. Remember how Matt Jones, Kentucky Sports Radio, said, Auburn, it's an easy win for Kentucky.
We don't even have to be that good.
We don't even have to be that good.
Yeah.
So make sure we tag Matt Jones, Kentucky Sports
Wait,
Radio.
Are they still in the hunt for the college football playoff?
No.
Kentucky?
Yeah.
No. He ends up. He was right. They ain't that good.
Yeah, there were 2 games in the we don't even have to be that good to win those that they lost.
Yeah, maybe we'll pull that back up a little bit here, a little bit later on.
Hey, by the way, thebarnauburn.com for all your Auburn coverage. Thebarnauburn.com. Join for $1. And Payton with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
Yeah, but we tag him when Payton and LT and all of us do a drive-by on Kroger Field noise.
Correct. You said correct.
We're not
even a hesitation.
We're not the kind of show that's going to make you name ones that Michigan State's louder than. Kroger Field's one of them. Correct.
Yes.
So we are that show. That show that's brought to you by a lot of great folks, including New Life Art, DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com, The Legend, a tribute to Coach Nick Saban and his 6 national championship seasons, is available to you right now. You can pre-order and get that and the 2025 calendar, which is available as well, by using the promo code TNR. TNR gets you 20% off. The Legend, that beautiful tribute to Nick Saban's time in Tuscaloosa, painted by the guy who paints all the great Alabama art, Daniel A. Moore. DanielMooreArt.com. Deuce is Wild out as well. Ryan Williams, Zabian Brown's big win over Georgia. The preliminary sketch is done. Check it all out and get that calendar with the promo code TNR, 20% off. DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com, and our buddy Dr. B, who had LT's hair looking like it was ready for the runway last night.
Oh, wow. Okay. Dr. B, when I started to thin out 3 years ago, I asked around. Everybody said Dr. Beckenstein is the man. You need to reach out. I did. I do that non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. The hair has more than doubled in thickness. Brown has followed suit. He's doing the exact same thing. Not only us, for more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. B for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use his experience, his advanced training, and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Dr. B always evolving, too. He's got some new treatments that we will be telling you about shortly. But you can call, schedule the consultation now, 205-319-0316. That's 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net.
Kentucky's not on the thing we're about to show you. On3 Sports weekly projection of the playoffs. More important now because a week from tonight, Brown, we get what?
Jim, we get the first ever 12-team playoff ranking.
That's
first
right.
ever in the 12-team era a playoff ranking. And I am assuming when we get that ranking, everybody in the world is going to build a graphic showing what the playoff would look like with that particular ranking. I would assume that.
I would assume
I don't think they'll bracket it.
You don't think they'll put it in a bracket?
I mean, I guess they will. I don't know why they wouldn't. Because your highest ranked group of 5 is going to be the group of 5, right? So even if they're, 23rd, that's going to be your group of 5.
We don't do poll questions anymore, but just quickly in the chat room, mybookie.ag chat room over there. Do you want them to put it in a bracket? I want them to. I mean, it's okay to give me a top 25, but I guess the problem is going to be what if a conference representative is not ranked? You know what I mean?
Like a conference winner?
Yeah, like at some point, it's not the situation right now, but if we ever get to the place where the Big 12 or the ACC doesn't have a ranked team or the group of 5. But shouldn't I know by the playoff committee who the top rated, even if the group of 5 is not in my top 25, I need to know who I'm chasing or if I'm the guy in the group of 5 right now. Shouldn't they be giving me the group of 5 representative right now?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess so. I don't know. I mean, I'm conflicted on this because the top 4 are going to be conference champions, and part of me, what are you laughing at?
I know how this plays. When Brown's conflicted, he's waiting to see how you guys are going to go in the chat room here.
I wouldn't even look.
So he'll know which way he wants to go.
Boise's going to be up there. Boise has really good wins. If you start to really break this down, the UNLV win this past Friday night was a nice win.
Quality win.
You go back, they've got one of the best quality losses to number 1 on their field by 3.
That's right, on the road at Oregon.
I mean, is there a better loss?
No,
I'm talking about in all of college football.
No, that's like back when Alabama was number 1, Georgia going to Tuscaloosa and losing. It's a quality loss.
So, but where I'm conflicted is I don't think well, first of all, your top 4 are not going to be only conference champions in the ranking. So it's going to look a little sloppy if you do it.
But
see what I'm saying?
But
they're going to have to explain that. Well,
I think that's why they need to bracket this thing.
We got Texas number 3, but clearly they're the 5th seed because we've got Georgia number 1. The other thing is I don't think they want to appear as though they are projecting conference champions, the committee, right? So if you seed 1, 2, 3, 4 based on their rankings, it's the appearance. Well, we're projecting Georgia's going to win the SEC, so we've got them as the 1 seed SEC rep. See what I'm saying?
I can see the committee do that.
Yeah, so I think the committee will just put out, here's our 1 through 25. You guys do with it what you want.
And then Reese will say, thank you. Here's the bracket off of their rankings, right?
Yeah.
So that's how they'll do it?
Yeah, I think so because I think 2 things. I think, number 1, they know it's going to be a little bit messy.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Here's the bracket off of what Brown just said.
That's right. They know it's going to be a little bit messy, and I don't think they want to appear that they are predicting that Oregon is going to win the Pac or the Big Ten. Excuse me.
I can see that.
Yeah.
But it's not a problem this year. But let's say Boise State wasn't ranked. Let's say Army wasn't ranked. I forget how we consider Washington State.
I think they're a Pac-12 team. I think they are. I don't even really know what they are.
Washington State and Oregon State are Pac-12.
Yeah, but are they?
I understand that.
No, I know that.
How we consider them for the playoffs.
What is the Pac-12? Is it a group of 5?
No, it's a group of 5.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Are we certain of that, though?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I'm going to find that out. Every time this comes up, I say I'm going to find it out.
I think we found out last time, and I think LT's right. But
okay.
But my point being,
I know who I can ask that will absolutely know.
Those 3 teams, if they were not ranked and they were out of the rankings, I would want to know who the group of 5 leader is, right? So we need to know the group of 5 situation. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, Washington State got run off the field by Boise. I mean, Boise is the team.
I'm just talking about in general, when we do these rankings on Tuesday night, these preliminaries, they've got to tell us somehow the group of 5 rankings, don't they? If none of them were ranked, it wasn't so clear-cut as it was Boise State this year.
Well, I think because it is somewhat interesting that you've got Army in the mix, undefeated, with Notre Dame coming up on the schedule.
Yes.
So, yeah, even if you just did a top 3, if you did Boise, Army, and Washington State.
Yeah. Or I'd like to know if Tulane's in there, if they battle back from a loss to Kansas State and Oklahoma, or is Tulane and our buddy John Summerall, are they in there? I hope they give us some kind of group of 5 direction.
Well, so you want a whole group of 5 rankings? Because they're group of 5, they can manipulate it where it's actually in the ranking. Like if they think Tulane's are group of 5, well, Tulane's unranked. Well, not in ours, they're not. They're 28th or they're 23rd or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So you're saying, would you like a separate poll? Like, okay, you guys know Tulane was our highest ranked group of 5. Here are the other ones.
I'm just saying that
I'm with you. I like that idea.
You're going to give me 25.
And there's going to be one group of 5 in there.
But if there's no group of 5 in there.
Well, there will be. Because they manipulate
from now on?
Yeah, whoever they're going to have in, they'll put in the poll.
Okay.
Just so they don't have to explain it.
Then maybe I don't need the group of 5.
No. I like that idea of having a separate group of 5 ranking, Lance, so I know this is, I mean, all right, you guys see Tulane in the poll. They're just marginally ahead of Boise. We've got Boise number 2. We've got, whoever else 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. I like that idea.
Yeah,
actually.
but I think it is pretty simple this year with Boise.
Oh, it is. Yeah. We were just talking about from now on in the rest of history, on these lead-up shows, should the college football playoff rankings let us know where the group of 5 guys
but even if it's
standing.
simple with Boise, I'd like to know who they're in front of, who's second, who's third, who's fourth, because imagine if you're a Tulane fan and you're next in line, and Boise loses to can't even remember who they got Saturday.
But it is absolutely simple. Boise is the team. They're 15th in the country. They're right behind Alabama. They're ahead of LSU. They're ahead of Pitt. More on that game.
And by the way, when you start to look at this schedule, like San Jose State on the road could be tricky, but they're not going to lose again.
No, they're going to win out.
Milo's bringing you this part of the show, the rankings of 1 week from tonight, the first one from the College Football Playoff Committee. That projection from On 3 right after LT tells us about our friends at Milo's.
Can you name something better than a Milo's burger? How about 24 free Milo's burgers? Milo's giving away a catered meal for up to 24 guests. That's right, 24 of your closest friends, coworkers, or family can be challenged mowing down on Milo's favorites. And the best part, it is absolutely free. For your chance to win, head to miloshamburgers.com/catering-contest and enter today. That is miloshamburgers.com/catering-contest. Or whether you're feeding a few or a whole crew, Milo's has got you covered. Don't wait. Enter now. Maybe they'll be serving you and 23 of your lucky friends soon. Stay saucy.
Okay, here's the way the On3 Sports projections look this week after the Week 9 games going into Week 10. This is the last projections before we get the beautiful playoff rankings. Andy Staples providing this for us. Oregon still 1, Georgia 2, Clemson 3, BYU 4, and then the 5-12, Boise going to Texas, the 11-6, Texas A&M in going to Miami. The 10-7, Notre Dame going to Penn State, and the 9-8 matchup, Ohio State in Indiana right now. That's the way it's all projected out from Andy Staples. First four out, Tennessee, Iowa State, Alabama, Pitt in that order. A group of 5 contenders behind Boise, Army, UNLV, Navy, Tulane. Tulane a little low there. And the Ragin' Cajuns, who play tonight, Louisiana against Texas State in a big game there in the Sun Belt. That's from Andy Staples there. Ari Wasserman gives us the bubble watch as he continues. Ari with The Athletic, I believe. This is Ari. Nope, also with On3. First four out, Iowa State, Clemson, Alabama, Pitt. Next four out, Kansas State, LSU with a big drop. SMU hanging around down there, and Ole Miss. Group of 5, they do have Tulane ranked high. Army, Tulane, UNLV from Ari there, and there's the bracket there at the bottom. G. Curbo over in the mybookie.ag chat room says if Colorado wins out 10-2, they're in the playoffs. I don't think they are unless they win the Big 12, winning out, being 11-2 in the Big 12 champions. They're automatically in.
Yeah, I guess maybe he meant that, though.
Yeah, but 10-2, they should be in the Big 12 championship game.
Oh, yeah.
10-2. That's only one conference loss at 10-2 because their loss is Nebraska.
But I felt like he was saying that 10-2 gets them in as an auto bid. I don't think Colorado can play in as an auto bid.
They need help, though.
I mean, as a large bid.
They need help because Kansas State's one of their losses, and they do not need to finish in a tie with Kansas State because head-to-head would break that tie.
Well, and Kansas State, Kansas State wins out, they could still not get into the Big 12 championship game because Iowa State, BYU, both undefeated, don't play each other.
Yeah. I mean, it's the ACC's got some messy scenarios. So does the Big 12. When we get rid of these divisions, we create these situations where a lot of teams don't play one another.
Yeah, the SEC has a scenario where it's Texas A&M and maybe LSU in a rematch, and not Texas and Georgia.
Wow.
Or Texas A&M. And
it
despite head-to-head, it was a messy scenario, and I know it's still too early to get into all these wacky, wild possibilities because, as LT and you and me always point out, it always works out.
It always does. But A&M's got the best path right now. I mean, they're undefeated.
You can't be better than a 0 in the loss.
That's right.
All right, Clay Travis on the other side when we come back. Upset alert today at 10:30. We got an updated standings. We'll take a look at that. And that Penn State-Ohio State game, it's by far the biggest game in the country this weekend. That's what you get when you have 4 traveling to play 3. We'll talk about that game. And is there a little USC problem in Columbus? What I mean by that, when we talk about that game next hour, all being brought to you by a couple of great sponsors. One of them, our friends at CPAP Plus.
Hey, if you're looking for the best CPAP gear with personal service you can trust, visit CPAP Plus. 3 convenient locations, Pelham, Highway 280, Trustful. You can also Google CPAP Plus. Something special for the Next Round viewer and listener. Mention the Next Round. You're going to get a $20 credit towards the purchase of a new mask system, CPAP cleaner, even a travel CPAP machine. Stop by today, CPAP Plus, where you're going to find the best service and equipment all in stock, ready for you. The O'Neill brothers, the owners there, CPAP users themselves, so they know exactly what you're looking for. With hundreds of 5-star Google reviews, trust CPAP Plus for all of your CPAP needs. CPAP Plus, where every night matters.
MyBookie.ag, code Next Round, where you play all the games. As Lance mentioned, you got some college football tonight. The tightest one, Texas State, a 4-point home favorite as they take on those Ragin' Cajuns we were talking about. Big national game over the weekend. Penn State, a 3.5-point home dog as Ohio State comes to town. Interesting game to watch. Ole Miss -7 on the road at Arkansas. The Auburn Tigers holding as a 6.5-point favorite over the Vanderbilt Commodores and Jordan-Hare. You can play all those games, the Major League Baseball, NBA, everything at mybookie.ag. When you go on there, you're going to make your initial deposit, and they are going to double that deposit when you use code NEXTROUND. You heard me right. You make a deposit, they give you that Again, they double it with code next round at mybookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. Mybookie.ag, code next round. Mybookie.ag, code next round.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
Our friends at Milo's Hamburger invites you to join them in the fight against hunger in our local communities by bringing non-perishable food items to your local Milo's, including canned goods. When you donate a canned good or any non-perishable food item, Milo's will give you a free drink. Together, we can make a difference.
Ryan Brown here for the next round. Join me and CBS sports analyst Brandon Marcello for the Middle Eight each Monday at 8 a.m. as we look back at the weekend of college football from the SEC to the top 25 of the college football playoff. It's the Middle Eight presented by mybookie.ag, code next round.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Payton Thorne already on the show earlier this hour. You can get that wherever you get the podcast, including Apple and Spotify. Make sure you subscribe there, like, and comment. We appreciate that so much. If you're watching on YouTube right now, the thumbs up button there helps us. Welcome to everyone on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook this morning. Show being brought to you by our friends at UrologyCentersAlabama.com, UCA. Our friends with 16 locations around the state of Alabama, one close to you that can treat you for all your urological needs, from prostate health to kidney stones, vasectomies, and everything else you need in life. Guys, so important to stay on top of those things from your 30s to your 40s, 40s to 50s, and so on. Early detection, so important. Schedule an appointment today. Get a checkup. Call 205-930-0920 or visit UrologyCentersAlabama.com.
Clay Travis is the founder of Outkick, and you see him on Fox as well. He's with us now on the JohnsTNRVCenter.com hotline. What is up, Clay? How are you?
I'm doing well. How are y'all?
Doing fantastic. Thank you so much. 1 week from tonight will be one of the most historic nights in America. It will be the first ever unveiling of a playoff ranking in the 12-team playoff era. What do you expect that to be when it is unveiled 1 week from tonight?
You know, I thought that it would be typically the case that if you went 10-2 in the SEC or in Big Ten, that you were almost assured going to get into the playoff. I don't believe that anymore. I think there are a lot of moving parts here, you know, we'll see what happens with the SEC teams. Like, for instance, we got some potentially losable games, right? Like, it would be very Texas A&M to go on the road and lose at South Carolina this weekend after getting a huge win. And certainly as you look ahead, maybe Florida is better than we anticipated and could be in a position to be able to pull off an upset. But you know, I think there's going to be more uncertainty in the college football playoff 12 than in this landslide election, which Donald Trump is going to win that same night. So I just hope in the event that there are some Auburn Kamala supporters out there that you know, they're just curled up in the fetal position and already got their blankies and are crying in the process.
There's a very easy scenario that has 5 two-loss SEC teams. Either Alabama it's either Alabama or LSU, depending on who wins that game next week. Assuming, and I know you don't want to do this, Clay, but for the purposes of this conversation, assuming Georgia beats Tennessee and Georgia beats Ole Miss, I mean, you got 2 loss or better. You got like 5 teams, and I'm with you. It's when you start trying to put them all in there, it doesn't seem like it's going to work.
Yeah, but the problem, Clay, becomes it doesn't become that we cannot reward the ACC and the Big 12 strength of schedule like you do the SECs. If you do that, I mean, they're going to have some unbeaten or 11-1s or 2 11-1 teams that can't be equal to a 10-2 that's played an SEC schedule.
Yeah, look, I think the proverbial fly in the ointment here is I don't think anybody expected BYU, Iowa State, and Indiana to be undefeated entering into November. And if you're out there and you're looking at that saying, okay, well, how's this going to impact the SEC? Well, I mean, Indiana has a very good chance to go 11-1, and the only loss would be to Ohio State. Are you going to leave out an 11-1 Big Ten team? I think that's going to be hard to do. So that's basically a quote-unquote stolen bid coming out of nowhere from the Hoosiers. And then you look, probably Ohio State, Penn State, and Oregon are in, so that's 4, right? Notre Dame, unless USC gets up off the mat and beats them, has a very good chance to go 11-1, the road win over Texas A&M that hasn't yet lost. I know they lost to Northern Illinois, but are you going to leave out 11-1 Notre Dame? Probably not. That takes another bid. And then the real kicker here is I think there's a good chance Miami and Clemson both get in, right? Which takes away another bid. And then, look, if BYU is 12-0 and Iowa State's 12-0 and they meet in the Big 12 title game, guys, I don't think there's any way that the 12-1 loser of that game is going to get left out. So
I agree. These guys scoffed at me when I said that yesterday, Clay.
Well, I mean, the reason I scoff at that, Clay, is because I believe, and I think you agree with this, the Big Ten and the SEC wield all the power in this room. And I do think, to Jim's point, you mentioned Miami, and you can give me either Iowa State or BYU, doesn't really matter. There is a massive strength of schedule issue for either one of those teams. I mean, all 3 of those teams could have a conference championship game loss, be their only loss, and not have a single top 25 win.
I get it. I just think it's going to be hard in a 12-team playoff to say a 12-1 team doesn't get in. Now, we have seen college football is always ripe with upsets. For the last couple of weeks, we really haven't seen them. And by the way, if it doesn't work out for Tennessee or for Alabama, you know who they have to blame. I mean, Alabama for losing at Vanderbilt and Tennessee for losing at Arkansas. Those are bad losses. Even though those are SEC teams, those are losses those teams shouldn't have taken. And so if Tennessee finishes 10-2 and the best win is Alabama, and Alabama finishes 10-2 and the best win is LSU, but both of those teams have road losses against 500 caliber teams, which is where I think Vanderbilt and Arkansas will end. That'll be the argument that's pummeled against them.
Alabama's best win would be Georgia.
Yeah, but I know what Clay's saying is like you've given them a chance to argue against you with Vanderbilt and Arkansas, those losses on the road, if you're Alabama and Tennessee.
Yeah, and yes, you're right. The Georgia win would be a very good win, but I mean, a lot of people are going to say, yeah, but look at the loss against Vanderbilt. And anyway, so if I am an SEC fan, which I clearly am, I am rooting for Iowa State, BYU to get upset. I am rooting for Clemson maybe to get knocked out of contention. Maybe they lose at Pitt. Maybe they lose at Virginia Tech. I believe both those games are the next couple of weeks on the schedule. I'd like to see Miami have lost, but it seems like the ACC is going to do whatever they can to ensure that doesn't happen, and it feels like Miami's going to get in probably at 12-0. And so I think you have to root for Miami to win, and then for them to beat either a Clemson or guys. I mean, there's a lot of teams that are alive. SMU, Virginia Tech, Pitt, who I just mentioned, in the potential ACC other spot, and that those teams lose. You know, the real outrage, I mean, there's a scenario where Virginia Tech goes 10-3, wins the ACC, and gets one of the 4 playoff byes. I mean, that's where I think we could be headed if we really got the chaos scenario, so to speak, in the ACC.
Okay, how about this one? Okay, you mentioned Clemson and Miami. They don't play in the regular season. So you got 11-1 Clemson playing 12-0 Miami, and you've got 11-1 SMU, who's only lost to undefeated BYU by a possession. So if SMU is not allowed to play in that game, and let's just say Clemson beats Miami and you've got 3-1 losses from the ACC, is there a chance that SMU, if they're really impressive down the stretch, with their only one loss being to Big 12 undefeated champion top 5 BYU, I mean, and they didn't even get an opportunity to play in the championship game. How do you not give them a look?
You can't win the Cy Young if you're striking out Toledo Mud Hens in AAA.
Well, look, I mean,
I'm just saying the one loss would be BYU.
Yeah, there's a lot of these scenarios where teams can end up with the same record and not play because the conferences have gotten so big, right? And I do think a lot of people haven't really thought about this in earnest about, hey, what happens when we end up? I mean, you mentioned it a minute ago, Brown, I think, like what happens if we had 5 or 6 SEC teams all tied at 10-2? Now, the reality might well be because A&M's loss is out of conference and maybe LSU's loss is out, whatever it is, right? You could end up with an easier solution for who plays in the championship game. But do any of you guys think that A&M's the best team in the SEC?
No.
I don't. I mean, I think Saturday night in that second half, Georgia or Texas or anybody else at the top of the conference would have had a tough time beating them, but that doesn't necessarily make them the best team.
LT's said this a couple of times over the last few weeks, that first half Alabama versus Georgia, second half Georgia against Alabama, first half Georgia against Texas, second half Texas against,
Yeah, nobody put 60 minutes together. We see some great 30-minute halves from some of these teams.
And second half Texas A&M as good as anybody in the country. Yeah.
Second half Tennessee against Alabama. I mean, there's a lot of teams that have put a really good half on film, but I don't know who's played a complete game yet.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's kind of how the NFL and the college football are becoming very similar, right? Where there's a great deal of parity. Any given weekend, anything can happen, which is why I tend to think some of these games down the stretch, we look at it and we say, oh, that team's a 12-point road favorite or a double-digit favorite, whatever you want to say. But a lot of these college kids crumble when it gets loud, when they have a couple of bad turnovers, and they don't necessarily have the mental fortitude that they'll have 5 or 6 years later when they're potentially NFL pros. And so I tend to think that that's going to catch up with some of these teams. and your Indiana's, BYU's, and frankly, Iowa State's and Texas A&M's of the world. And I don't mean A&M is like awful and not a talented team. I just mean that I don't think that even though they're 5-0 in the SEC and the only undefeated SEC team, that they are somehow head and shoulders above. I think their next two are South Carolina and Auburn, if I'm not mistaken. I think they'll lose one of those two games. And by the way, it wouldn't stun me if they lost both. But I would bet on them losing to either South Carolina or Auburn the next 2 weeks.
So Vanderbilt 5-3, 3 combined losses by 10 points. Is there a chance Diego Pavia and Clark Lee are your first-team quarterback and SEC Coach of the Year?
Well, I think it depends on how. There's a chance, right? Because
Pavia is that guy right now. You give me an argument for another quarterback in the SEC that would deserve first team over Pavia.
Again, at halftime Saturday, it was Nussmeier, but it ain't. But it ain't now.
Yeah, right. Well, so I would say that much like the Heisman Trophy ends up being defined by big wins on big stages down the stretch run of the season, there are lots of guys that still have the ability to turn it on, I think, in the final month of the season, whether it's Carson Beck, whether it's Jalen Milroe, whether it is, believe it or not, Nico, whether it is, Nussmeier could get. I mean, there are still guys that could get hot down the stretch. But if you ask me who's been the most consistent quarterback through 8 games in terms of playing at a high level, I think it's Diego Pavia. I don't think that's a crazy take by any stretch of the imagination. And I think it would take one of those other quarterbacks really kind of going on an insane hot streak, throwing for 15 or 16 touchdowns in November, only a couple of picks, and the team goes undefeated.
He's 10th in the conference in passing. That's what makes this such a difficult argument. I mean, you watch him, his numbers just don't add up to what he does, Clay. That's the crazy thing about Pavia is he just makes plays. He does he makes winning plays that his team needs, but
where does he rank in rushing yards?
In the SEC?
Yeah.
I bet he's top 20. And here's the thing, Max Duggan, I don't remember his numbers being like out of this world, and he was a Heisman finalist. He almost reminds you a little of Max Duggan.
I don't think, unless no, he's 8th in the conference in rushing. I was looking too low. He's 8th in the conference, 67 yards a game and 4 touchdowns.
So, I mean, he has made plays with his legs, too, which has made him, somewhat of a difficult player to be able to contain. He reminds me a little bit of Johnny Manziel, right? Like maybe a poor man's Johnny Manziel in terms of the plays that he's able to make. And that's not an insult to him. It's just obviously Johnny Manziel won the Heisman Trophy and first-round draft pick. I think that Vanderbilt, unfortunately, is going to struggle down the stretch run of this season, and I'm not sure that they make a bowl game. So I think they may finish 5-7 if you look at their remaining 4. You guys may have it in front of you right now. I know they got LSU, Tennessee, Auburn,
and South Carolina.
And South Carolina. It wouldn't stun me if they lost all 4 of those. And then, the excitement of a 5-2 start and the win over Alabama would fade pretty rapidly if you keep stacking tough losses in the SEC. But I think if they could go back and play, first of all, the fact that they played Georgia State on the road is an indictment of their scheduling, right? I mean, come on, you're a multi-billion-dollar asset school, and you can't afford to pay somebody to come play you at Vanderbilt instead of having to do a 2-1, road game with Georgia State. I mean, that's an indictment. They really should have beaten Missouri. And I think if you look at how Missouri played against Alabama and how Missouri played against Texas A&M, I think you can argue the better team lost that game because I think Vanderbilt through 8 games has been more impressive than Missouri has, particularly when you consider how Vanderbilt has played against everybody and how Missouri's just gotten blown out when they've actually played a decent caliber team on the road.
All right, he is the founder of Outkick at Clay Travis on social media. You also see him on Fox. Thank you very much for the time, Clay. Have a great week.
Appreciate you all. Next Tuesday, kind of a big day.
Kind of a big day. Playoff rankings out for the first time in the 12-team playoff era. I cannot wait.
Give us, Clay, who Donald Trump is in the college football playoff rankings and who Kamala is to you.
Trump's Oregon. He's going to make the playoff 100%. There's no way he's in. Everybody should go vote. Even people who want to vote for Kamala, you should go vote too. You're going to lose, but you should go vote. I would say Kamala is Oh, it's a good question. Kamala is Iowa State. Probably never should have been in the contention of best teams. Got elevated in mysterious circumstances due to the collapse of the Big 12, much like Biden's collapse. So I would say she is an artificially inflated pretender to the college football crown.
Interesting. Okay. Thank you, Clay. We'll see you next week.
All right, see y'all.
All right, Clay Travis on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
And our show brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision.
205-969-8100. That is the call you need to make if you've been wearing the eyeglasses, the contacts for years. You're wasting money. I am speaking from experience. Make the call that I made. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. They're going to hook you up. Pre-inflation pricing. And also a hassle-free consultation. 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson. Best in the business. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
If you are looking for a golf home in Birmingham or Central Alabama, may we recommend Inverness Country Club. ICCalabama.com is the website for all the information there. In fact, right there on their website, it's got a link how you can become a member. You just click on the link. It is so easy right there at Inverness. They want to make you part of their family there. Resort style pool, amazing restaurant, brand new food and beverage manager there. They are so excited. We tried some of his creations when we were out there last, and they are terrific. Brand new practice facility there at Inverness. What is not to like? ICCalabama.com. Inverness Country Club in the heart of the 280 area in Birmingham, ICCalabama.com.
A couple of NFL notes before LT gives us our 4 downs today. Christian McCaffrey is starting to ramp up his return for the San Francisco 49ers. Week 10 return, a possibility for the 49ers. Week 9 this week in the NFL, so not this weekend, but next weekend. What a big addition late in the year if Christian McCaffrey comes back healthy for a 49er team that's kept their head above water.
Yeah, and it's been a disappointing year so far for the 49ers. I mean, sitting at 4-4.
But that's your head above water, man.
Yeah, it is. Without one of your best players, for sure.
And by the way, you're atop the division with Arizona and Seattle, and you're a better team than both of those. So you get McCaffrey back, you get into the postseason. Again, Kansas City's a team that lost 4 of 6 in the regular season last year, and they won a Super Bowl. So that's all San Francisco wants to do. Get us to 9-10 wins, get us in the playoffs. We'll be happy with that.
And listen, I don't know about this guy the Chiefs picked up with another trade from the Patriots, Joshua Uche. Is it Uche? Uche, okay. Joshua Uche. Very good, Brownie. I like that. That's why you did play-by-play last night. I could pronounce half the names anyway. 2026 6th-round draft picks. All you give up, another edge rusher. With what they did with Hopkins, here are the Chiefs who are trying for history. And they're out buying here at the trade deadline. They're making trades to fill in some cracks or fill in some holes or add a little to the position. I love what the Chiefs, they're being aggressive here.
Well, yeah, I mean, Clark Hunt and family, they understand that you've got a generational quarterback, and why would you not try to take advantage and do something that's never been done before in the history of the NFL, and that's win 3 consecutive Super Bowls. I still think they're on borrowed time. I don't know how much of you guys watched Kansas City and the Raiders.
Every game, I've seen a little bit of every game, and they're doing just enough to win.
Well, I mean, he throws a red zone pick, Pat Mahomes, and it gets returned to like the 6. The Raiders can't get in.
I think it was deeper than that. I think they got it down to the 2 because they ran 13 consecutive red zone plays. 13.
And couldn't get in.
Consecutive red zone plays and got 3 points out of it. Do you know how hard it is to run 13 plays in the red zone and only get 3 points?
Well, that's what you get when you get Gardner Minshew as your quarterback. I mean, it's been a fun story. It was a fun story at Washington State, but he's not a frontline starter in the NFL. And you know, I think they're on borrowed money. The scary thing about Kansas City is you have added a weapon, and they wake up when it gets to the postseason. Like, you know, they're going to lose some games down the stretch. They've still got to go to Pittsburgh. They got to go to Buffalo.
Yeah, but that's NFL regular season games. This team, they're playing for the postseason, and I like the way they're being aggressive. And my goodness, the deadline's today. Is that what you're telling me, or is it tomorrow?
Today,
later on today. What if they went out and got one more receiving weapon? That would be something else. But they've already done that with DeAndre Hopkins. All right, 4 Downs is brought to you by our friends at Slice. 5 great locations. A wonderful, we tell you about this all the time. Go by there and get a slice or 2 and a salad for a wonderful lunch every day at these 5 locations.
Yeah, 5 locations: Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park, newest location, Edgewood. Get in to see the Bajalia Brothers, local pizza, local ingredients from the Soul Pie, the Hot Mama, the Bajalia Special. You're going to absolutely love it. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
More pressure this weekend. Ryan Day or James Franklin?
I mean, it's Ryan Day. I mean, James Franklin loses this game. It's what he does.
Well, Ryan Day does too, honestly. I
Not
mean,
this
big game. No, big game. Not necessarily Penn State, but it's almost like the old immovable object and irresistible force here. Like Ryan Day wins all the games except the really big ones for the most part. And James Franklin wins all the games except for the ones against Ohio State and Michigan. So which one gives here? Does Ryan Day finally get a big one? Because what do you think of Ryan Day in big games?
Hadn't been good.
Hadn't been good.
But usually those big games have only been Michigan at the end of the year just recently. Used to win them all the time, just recently.
Georgia,
and
Alabama.
And the playoffs.
Yeah.
This is the playoffs.
Well, it's not, but it is a big game.
It is.
I mean.
And I'll say this. Penn State,
easiest money on the board this weekend is Ohio State giving the points. Easiest money on the board this weekend, Ohio State giving the points.
I don't think Penn State is that good.
They are not that good.
I can't play it.
I don't know how good Ohio State is. I do think it's a dangerous game. I wish it wasn't 11 o'clock. I wish it was a night game. I say that a lot.
I'd feel different if it was a night game whiteout.
I would too. With this said, though, I think Penn State's undefeated. So even if they take a loss, they're still fine. If Ohio State takes their second loss, you still have Indiana and Michigan coming up, probably games you win, but the pressure is going to be on Ohio State. For them to be in a situation at 9-3 and they have no control over their destiny, that's a problem.
The remainder of
that's fireable almost.
Yeah, the remainder of Penn State's schedule is awful. They lose this game. They don't have to go play in the Big Ten championship game. They probably end up hosting a playoff game.
They play they played the Minnesotas.
They got Minnesota, Maryland. I don't have it at Purdue, I think. I mean, they don't play Michigan.
That's right.
Well, not that would matter this year.
They got all the bad M's.
Yeah. It is a nothing schedule remaining for them, and if they lose this game, they don't have to go to Indianapolis. They probably end up hosting a playoff game. Yeah. So there's really very little on the line for Penn State in this, other than the fact that your coach never wins these games.
Second down.
More realistic: A&M wins the SEC or Indiana wins the Big Ten?
More realistic: the A&M wins the SEC. It's not a terrible schedule for them the remainder of the way. And Indiana's got to beat Ohio State just to play for the Big Ten.
Well, you say that.
It's tricky for A&M.
You say that because think about it. If Penn State beats Ohio State and Indiana's only losses to Ohio State.
But then Penn State, I think, would be ranked higher than them, so Penn State's in against Oregon. Like Indiana has to beat Ohio State.
It would be. Yeah, you're right. It would, but that's when it gets tricky on how many teams does the Big Ten get in.
No, I mean, now getting in the playoffs is a different story. You asked winning the Big Ten, right?
Yeah,
Indiana, they absolutely have to beat Ohio State. That is their only path to the Big Ten championship game.
Yeah.
So I just don't see that happening. Meanwhile, Texas A&M's path to Atlanta is winning at South Carolina this weekend, which is going to be very difficult. I don't deny that.
They got some pitfalls before Texas, but they should win them.
Yeah, but they host Texas, and I can promise you Texas fans are too arrogant to admit this, but every single Texas fan is watching Texas A&M get better every week, and that game scares the hook 'em horns out of them.
You're exactly right. But then, if they're in Atlanta.
Who, A&M?
Yeah. Then they got to play a real team. Got to play the Georgia Bulldogs to win the SEC championship.
They do, yes.
Yeah. So
third down.
Current job longer, Billy Napier or Gus Malzahn?
I don't know why you said it like that.
Malzahn.
I will actually go Billy Napier.
Gustavo.
I feel like Gus has just fired a coordinator, and stop us if you heard this before, took over play calling.
Yeah.
Boy, if I'm Central Florida, I am like, you have got to be kidding. Give me something fresh in here.
This is what you do right before you get fired, right? This is your last ditch.
Yep.
This is Gus going to the AD like, I got this under control. I'm firing Ted Roof.
But he's doing it mid-season, Brand. Usually this is something you do at the end of the year. You do the correct.
Which is why it's a panic.
Which I think this shows you there is some rumblings in the background he's hearing. I think this is the last year for Gus.
I cannot believe that guy beat Nick Saban multiple times.
It's incredible. And but you're right. Well, Auburn fans get pissed when I say this. It was more about Jordan-Hare Stadium than it was about Gus Malzahn. Jordan-Hare Stadium.
No, I think Auburn fans would agree now.
Jordan-Hare Stadium is an impossible place to play in a big game. It is impossible. I've been there, guys. I mean, Oh, I say
it's
it's
an impossible place to play for Alabama
and Georgia. I've seen it affect Georgia too. 100%.
Some,
not as much as Alabama.
Yeah. It's an impossible place to play for Alabama. It's not for New Mexico State. It's not for any of these other teams that have come in there and won. People,
fans are
anytime
engaged.
we talk about Jordan Hare, the chat room goes,
I know.
but what about New Mexico State? Or what about this team? What about that? Well, it's not the same atmosphere. It's not the same atmosphere. When it's Alabama Iron Bowl on a Saturday down there with the sun setting at halftime, it's a different place. But I agree with you. Gus Malzahn winning against Alabama and Nick Saban down there, it was a big factor. It was a touchdown plus home field advantage. I think Gus is out this year.
I do too. I think this is him going to the AD and the boosters saying, give me a chance to get this under control. I'll fire Ted. I'll take back over the play calling. Judge me on the month of November before you fire me.
And then you fire.
And then you fire him.
Slade, there's no way there's no way that Gus goes down and takes an Arkansas State job or anything like that, right? You don't.
No, you retire at this point. You already live in Florida. Just stay there.
He's going to get another big buyout at this point, or at least some buyout money in the millions.
I mean, just stay in Orlando. That's where everybody retires anyway. Just stay there.
Enjoy Christy and the kids and the grandkids.
Yeah, bring them to Disney. You live in Orlando. They can stay at your house.
Yeah, move back to Arkansas. Buy a nice farm up there. Whatever you want to do. Yeah.
Fourth down.
I didn't realize that we have an art critic on the panel in Tyler after last week.
Knew way more about it than I ever imagined.
Bob Ross would have been 82 today.
Now, I know his work.
Yeah. I mean, seen the likeness
That's right.
of Bob Ross. If I asked you a better career, Bob Ross or Bobby Ross?
Bobby Ross, for those that don't know, I mean, we have a younger audience. Bobby Ross, one-time Chargers, one-time Georgia Tech.
Yeah, so
head
took
coach.
the Chargers to their only Super Bowl with Stan Humphries as your quarterback. Went undefeated with Georgia Tech and won a split of a national championship in 1990.
They had the one tie, right? North Carolina tied them in Atlanta, and that was the only blemish on the record.
Yeah, it was one tie.
Yeah.
So think about that for all the youngsters out there. Georgia Tech winning a national championship in the 90s and San Diego going to a Super Bowl in the 90s.
Yeah.
Bobby Ross could coach. Had some good years with Maryland, not so good years with Army.
Bob Ross was more personality than he was art.
I don't think he was a good painter, was he? Wasn't he color by numbers?
Is he a good painter?
I mean, he's a good painter. I wouldn't say he's...
Can you show us his masterpiece if you can find that? Because I thought it was color by numbers.
No,
it's more than that.
It's a little bit more than that, but he was very elementary in his painting. Happy clouds, look at the trees here.
Was he stoned as a bat when he was painting?
No,
or
I think you were discounting Bob Ross's contribution to art to call this paint by numbers and simple paintings. That's beautiful.
That's not paint by numbers?
No, that's gorgeous. Look at that.
I'm telling you that there's a good chance my hotel room tonight has that hanging in it.
Okay.
That's how far down the list I'm staying.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody said it wasn't generic. He was making it for PBS.
That's what I'm saying.
Right, yeah.
He was teaching us how to paint those trees, which, by the way, is pretty amazing. It looks realistic.
I mean, that is beautiful right there.
Yeah,
I would
he
hang
basically
that.
traced an Ansel Adams.
Yeah.
So he took the print, he traced it.
But see, it always
Threw some
amazes
color
me
on there.
when he starts putting the reflection in the water.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, that's just next level.
That's complex.
That is next level.
Is there a wolf down there somewhere?
Yeah.
I see Ross kind of mixed in, camoed.
Yeah, I see that bass. You see that bass over there by that lily pad?
Yeah, man, that's a gorgeous painting. I can't believe you guys are discounting his work.
Put it on your wall.
I'd have to
I
get
will if I could find it.
I'd have to get my jig bait out to pull that bass in.
Yeah, you would.
Find it for you.
Yeah. There you go. That's 4 downs brought to you by our friends at Slice. Bobby Ross was my answer if y'all didn't give one.
Yeah, I went Bobby Ross. 5 locations for you. Stop in today for lunch or dinner. Go see the Bajai Brothers. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
And our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Guys, the website is aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. Why do they have that name as their website? Because they have a plan specifically for you. It's not a cookie-cutter plan. Every plan is different. Leslie and her board-certified team can help you with a specific plan that'll help you with your weight loss, maybe control some blood pressure numbers, cholesterol numbers. It all can be done with the diet or what you put in your body. It is weight loss simplified with our friends at Way to Wellness. They have the medical weight loss supervision that includes the injections there. They've got meal replacements, all board-certified medical professionals, and occasionally they're expanding. Right? If you want another career opportunity, go to aplanforme.com and check that out. No contract, no sign-up fees, and that first consultation is free. Aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trussville. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Hey, you feel that? That's fall in the air. And New Balance Birmingham got your fresh fall pair to kick it during game time and sport from the sideline. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Happy football season. At The Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant-Denny or Jordan-Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
In some places, football is a sport. In Alabama, it's a fine art. New Life Art is proud to announce Daniel A. Moore's upcoming painting, Deuces Wild. This season, Bama is blessed with a pair of very talented deuces. The pair played a huge role on both sides of the ball in the Tide's amazing 41-34 victory over number 2 Georgia. Deuces Wild will portray the unbelievable game-winning 75-yard touchdown catch by deuce number 1, Ryan Williams, late in the 4th quarter. The Dogs' last chance drive was stopped by deuce number 2, Xavier Brown, as he made the game-saving interception in the end zone, which will be celebrated by a small artist's remark in the bottom margin of each print. Go to danielmooreart.com to see the artist's preliminary sketch and take advantage of special pre-publication pricing for Deuces Wild. Also available, The Legend, Daniel Moore's final tribute to Coach Nick Saban. Order now at danielmooreart.com.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Back with you on The Next Round. Who got ghosted last night in sports? It's the title championships of the New York Yankees. If you look at history, the World Series down 3-0 is virtually a terminal illness. The Yankees, they go down in a 4-2 game. You had a classic game in game 1, nail biter in game 2, and then a score that's closer than the game was in game 3. You get game 4 tonight, and you just wonder if the Yankees check out and this just goes off into the sunset 4-0.
I don't think. I mean, these are professionals. It is the World Series, and it really is very cliche, but it's one game at a time. And if the Yankees get this one, which they're a modest favorite, minus 150, minus 148. Then you come back, you try to get game 5, which you'll be favored in again, and then you put a little pressure on LA if you can get it back there.
Yeah, I asked you last night because I think it works this way. If I have tickets to game 5 at Yankee Stadium, right?
Right.
And if there is no game 5, I get my money back. So
I believe that would be the case.
So I've spent $1,336 on get-in.
Mm-hmm.
But if there is no game 5, I get my money back. But we're down 3-0. History says we're not going to win the World Series. I think if I'm a Yankees fan at this point, I want my $1,336 a ticket back. I just assume we go lose tonight and me not have to go to game 5 with $1,336 out of pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I still do think that, I guess it depends. Yankees fans that have been to a World Series game, maybe you want that experience.
Yeah. I think I'd want my $1,336 back.
I still think you got to hold out hope. It's been done one time before. It was 20 years ago.
So
one time in the history of baseball. Yeah. It's probably not going to be done again, but you never know.
Not in the World Series, though. I mean, that's American League Championship Series.
I was in this exact spot, if I'm not mistaken. There was one year where the Yankees, I think the Braves, there was a Yankees-Braves series that was a sweep, or somehow I had a ticket for a game that never got played.
Yeah, I think then the Braves went 2 up there, and then it never.
Yeah, but that would have gone back to Yankee Stadium. So this game would have been in Atlanta, and I had tickets to like Game 5 or Game 6. I don't remember the exact scenario here, but it was one of those. See, I didn't have a huge dog in the fight. Like, I wasn't going to be heartbroken if the Braves lost. I wasn't going to be excited if the Yankees won. I just wanted to go to a World Series game. So I was pulling for anything that got me to that World Series game. And it ended the game before my ticket, which I want to say was like Game 5. I seems like there was a sweep, but I thought I remember that being in New York. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe they won the first 2 in New York, second 2 in Atlanta, so it never got to the Game 5 in Atlanta. I think that was like 99 maybe. It was Turner Field.
Yeah. I can't remember. That's our Ghost Energy Ghost last night. The Yankees chancing winning the championship. Segment brought to you by Ghost Energy Ghost Hydration. Authentic flavors, zero sugar, no BS. Look for Ghost Energy and Ghost Hydration at retailers that sell energy and hydration drinks near you. It's our friends at Ghost Energy. Also our friends at New York Butcher Shop, where you are talking up already steaks tonight.
Yeah, steaks tonight, but very important. Thanksgiving right around the corner. We're about to roll into the month of November. You can order your turkey from our friend Jim at the New York Butcher Shop right now. Turkeys are fresh, all natural, hormone-free from Joyce Farms, one of the best poultry producers in America. Turkeys are fresh. They can also smoke them. They can brine them. They also carry smoked ham, certified Angus prime beef tenderloins, rib roast, all of their side dishes prepared in-house. Feed 8 to 10 people. However, they do have the smaller size that will feed 4 to 6. Don't forget they've got desserts like pies, cakes, banana breads, great wine selection to pair with your turkey or beef tender roast. Taking reservations now, highly recommended. They've sold out of turkeys each year. They don't want you to miss out. Get into one of those 2 locations, Cahaba Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well done service.
Amazing career Travis Hunter has had. Remember when he was being recruited? And I think Florida State was really the team that was the last team in major college football. He ended up going to Jackson State. And we thought, man, what's he doing? And we thought maybe 1 year there, and then he'd move on somewhere else. And I think he played another year at Jackson State, and then he's off to Colorado, staying with Deion Sanders. He continues to make history, and he did it yesterday, becoming the first player in Big 12 history to be named the offensive and defensive player of the week in the same week.
It's hard to do, I would imagine. First time ever.
He's already won the award as an offensive player and a defensive player at different times last year and this year. But he won them both yesterday. First player in Big 12 history to be the O&D player of the week. That is pretty dang amazing.
I mean, the kid's an amazing player. We talk about this all the time. We don't know what he'll be in the NFL. I have not looked at any of the NFL people that have said he should be a receiver, should be a defensive back. I don't know that anybody has said that.
I think he is going to be projected as a defensive back.
Yeah, I mean, you make good money on either one. If you're a shutdown corner or if you're a game-changing wide receiver, you make a fortune in the NFL. Maybe more now for a game-changing receiver. I don't know, Justin Jefferson money versus...
I mean, if you could give me one of the two, I would rather have a game-changing receiver.
I think I had two.
But here's the debate I think you have. Are there more game-changing receivers in the world of the NFL right now, or are there more game-changing corners in the world right now?
Well, see, it's hard to answer that because the game-changing receiver, you hear his name 10 times a game. The game-changing corner, sometimes you forget's on the field.
Yeah, because they don't throw his way.
That's right. But you see what I'm saying? I'm going to want the rarest of the rares.
Yeah,
I can get a Payton, I can get a Bob Ross if there's a lot of great wide receivers out there. But I'm going to need the Picasso, right? So if he's a rare DB and just one of the great wide receivers, give me the rare DB and I'll go try to find another great wide receiver.
I do think he is truly going to be a two-way player, but he's going to be used limited on offense. I could be completely wrong here. I think it's easier for him to be a full-time corner, and then you've got, he doesn't have the entire route tree, but he's got 3, 4, 5 plays you put in. He comes in 2, 3, maybe plays per game. You've got special packages for him.
Like his head coach used to do.
Yeah, his head coach used to do. And even more, they will use him on the offensive side. But, I mean, there's a chance if you believe he can stay healthy, he could go number 1 overall if that team doesn't need a quarterback.
The money's really not even close. It is so much better to be a high-end receiver in the NFL. Jalen Ramsey is the highest paid, and he shouldn't be. He's lost it. But he's the highest paid corner in the NFL at $24 million.
And by the way, that's another thing with cornerbacks. Darrelle Revis, Rod Woodson, some of those guys are different. But typically, your best cornerback lasts about 3 years in the NFL.
They lose it quick. It feels like.
And these receivers, you can get a good 7, 8 years out of a quality receiver.
Pat Surtain, the former Alabama DB, at $24 million a year as well. Your highest paid receiver is Justin Jefferson at $35 million. You're making $10 million more a year at receiver. So, I mean, that answers my question for me.
I wonder about longevity, though. Can I play longer at the DB? Maybe not.
And I'll tell you, and it might be a situation like that where he gets with his representation and they tell whoever's going to draft him, I'm not playing cornerback unless you want to pay me receiver money.
That's right. That's a good point.
And I will say,
because if you're going to use me at receiver a little bit, I need to be paid to the upscale.
Yeah. A little bit like Shohei. I'm almost getting paid to play 2 positions.
Yep.
I would say, though, like, if I'm a high-paid receiver, Justin Jefferson's a little bit of an exception here, I guess, but I've got to be paired with a really good quarterback to be successful. I'm still going to get paid money, but I need a good quarterback. What do I need at corner? Now, I do need some parts with me. I can't be by myself at corner, but I feel like it's easier to succeed as a great corner than it is a great receiver because the great receiver is only going to be great if he's got a great quarterback.
Yep. That's right. You got to have a good quarterback.
Somebody can get you the ball.
Got to have a good play caller, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're a better receiver with Sean McVay than you are with Brian Dable.
That is correct.
True?
That is correct.
I mean, Neighbors is really good, but if
He's
Neighbors
really, really good.
Yeah, if Neighbors was with Matt Stafford and Sean McVay, he'd be a lot better.
Yeah. All right. Let's do our upset alert. We do it every day at this time, every Tuesday at this time, I should say. 3 tries, finally get right the 3rd time. It's our spotlight. It's brought to you by our friends at McCurry. Bryony will tell us about McCurry after this.
The College Football Spotlight.
Sound the alarm. College football's upset alert.
McCurry Van and Car Rental, the place to go to get those difficult-to-find trucks, SUVs, and passenger vans. It's easy to rent. You get in and out fast. You got locations in Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, Coleman on 2nd Avenue Northwest, and Skyland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa. Reserve that rental today, 256-559-1003 or McCurryRentals.com. That's 256-559-1003 or McCurryRentals.com.
All right. The upset alert light is flashing. The standings look like Watt Forrester. Forrester was the leader for a long, long time.
He's been really good at this.
He is no longer the gold.
Oh, no.
He's no longer the silver.
Uh-oh.
He has slipped to 3rd place. Forrester, do you have a quick reaction on the water that is now gathering at the bottom of your boat?
Yeah, we've fallen on tough times here these last few weeks.
Yeah.
I think he got flustered last week with TCU.
You did. Well,
yeah,
no
doubt.
He picked a favorite in the upset alert.
I went with my heart and not my head.
Yeah.
How'd that game end up anyway?
That was a tight game.
Texas Tech won outright, I believe.
Yeah.
I think if Scott had just flipped the pick around and been like, oh, crap, I got the wrong side, he wins outright.
Yeah.
He could have played it. I didn't mean TCU. I know TCU's favored here.
I misspoke.
Yeah. And built the wrong graphics.
Yeah. He spit blood on me, but he wipes the blood off, pulls out that 6-shooter. And
Dunaway very, very lucky that Texas got the fortuitous bounce on the onside kick.
That's
Right. Vanderbilt pulls that upset.
You give Diego Pavia the ball late.
Yeah, absolutely. I was sweating that one. That's what I was thinking about watching that game. And the Brown Bandit will join us a little bit later on, hopefully. I mean, it's been one of those years.
It's October for him, though.
It is October, but he lost the keys last week.
Yeah, win some, lose some.
In start.
He's probably back stealing from old ladies.
Yeah.
Let's start with Forrester on the back row. Forrester, who's your upset alert this week?
Okay, so we're going to Mobile.
Oh, Jay's up.
I looked at this one.
Are the Jays up?
Jays are up, man. Coming off homecoming
By
win.
the way, you said you looked at it. There wasn't a lot to pick from.
It was not.
There
It was
wasn't.
not.
Yeah, Jay's
I
up.
had this one, and I had Royal Pains. Those were my three.
So last week was a pretty good week for the Jags. You know, big win over Brian Vincent,
That's
Warhawks.
Right. That's right. Sorry, Coach V had to walk into the Whitney Hancock Stadium and get them Jays up on him.
Jags den.
Yeah.
Hancock Whitney, close enough.
Yeah.
By the way, Brown Bandit's daughter 1-0 in upset alerts.
That's right. She picked it. She told me it was going to be a blowout. Look at that score right there, 46-17. I should have listened.
I don't know. I don't know if she's going to have a good weekend there, though, Brown.
Oh no, Scott.
Because we're going back to Hancock Whitney.
The cock.
Yep.
Well, sure.
The whit, I think they actually call it. Probably makes more sense.
Yeah, it would.
I hope so.
I would think that's what they'd call it.
Yeah, you would think so, yeah.
But it's going to be a good weekend for EG
Oh,
and Gus.
Look at this. Woo! Look at this.
They're going to get after those academics and those Jaguars.
That damn Eagles getting handsy.
Yeah. I mean, EG and the mascot.
That's right.
Homecoming queen and sideline reporter. And did you say that's Gus?
That's Gus.
Gus the Eagle.
Hey,
Gus
Gus
the
has
Eagle.
got Anthony Davis's eyebrow.
I just was about to say that.
Hey, unibrow Eagle.
Yeah, he needs to get a little wax job there.
Hey, honest to goodness, if those were my eyebrows, I'd do a comb back. I wouldn't be bald anymore. I'd just comb that back. That's a great graphic.
Yeah, but the Eagles are catching 6 there. So
6.5. 6.5 is the way we'll play it.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of like where your head is there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow,
me too,
at the
me
wit,
too,
huh?
Me too. I like that a lot. All right, I'll go next. LT's red hot. Listen, I won't watch it. I promise you, I will not watch
No,
this
you don't
game.
have to. All you need is a win.
I just have to look at the ticker, right? How many people do you know named Cole in movies that were good? Wasn't it Cole Trickle?
Cole Trickle and Days of Thunder.
Yeah, Cole Hauser plays the Reen rough and tough. What's the dude in Yellowstone?
That's right. If you don't know a Cole, that's not a badass, right? Here we go. Cole Snyder is the quarterback for this team. He's approaching. He'll hit 2,000 yards passing this weekend. It's pretty good. And I was out late, so I needed an easy logo to draw. Give me Eastern Michigan.
The Green E?
Who do they even play?
Plus 8.5. They're an 8.5-point dog at home to the Toledo Rockets.
How's Toledo giving anybody 8.5?
Misfire. Here
Yeah.
comes Eastern Michigan.
It's going to crash.
It's not on
it's on ESPNU at 11 o'clock.
You can watch it on the U.
The bigger shock, it's not on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday.
What are they doing playing on Saturday?
It's a Saturday game.
Let me ask you this. How is Oklahoma State Baylor on ESPN Plus this past week, and you can get Eastern Michigan and Toledo on the U?
As someone said last night on our Twitter feed, how did I have to watch the 1993 Iron Bowl? Or I couldn't watch it. I had to listen to it on radio, but you guys have broadcast 2 preseason games on my TV.
In HD.
HD,
And brought
yes.
up the fact that this broadcast took longer than the 1993 Iron Bowl.
That is both accurate.
Yes. Senders called to football.
Now, that was probation related. That game would have been on TV if not for Auburn having a TV ban and archaic probation.
Absolutely.
Okay, I don't know if you guys realize this, but Michigan is 5-1 at the Big House.
They've only lost that one game to Texas.
Yeah, plus 15.5. They found their quarterback in Davis Warren. It came full circle. He sucked. Alex Orji sucked. Jack Tuttle sucked so bad he had to retire. I hate to say that. It was actually because he is fearing for his health. So Tuttle's out. This game is for Jack. They're playing it for Jack.
His 5th concussion.
Michigan plus the 15.5 against an Oregon team that finally played a complete game against Illinois. Now they go out of the Pacific time zone for only the 2nd time this year. A lot of Khalil Mullings. A lot of Donovan Edwards, and I like Michigan running the football and keeping it within the 15.5. And look, who knows?
Listen,
we've seen bigger upsets this year.
Listen, I want to say on this logo here that you're Boeing, like you have mastered the yellow. But I'm a little bit of the Wright brothers, right? The first to dare to put the highlighter in on this.
So does it come off the whiteboard?
You have to work at it.
Yeah, it takes some time.
But see, I like the way you didn't care. You're like, I need this logo, and we'll worry about that tomorrow.
Throw caution to the wind, and let's let Michigan pop.
Jim will go spend the $3.99 on another one if this doesn't come off. You have to work at it a little bit, but that is Boeing. I mean, you have taken it to the next level. That doesn't look as good if it was just a black M.
I agree.
Or a blue M.
That looks like the Michigan logo.
Yep. Very good. Very good. Oh, the Brown Bandit's here.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
What's up,
How are y'all?
I'm surprised you got a mask on and not a bag over your head.
Well, you say that. Why, Jim?
I've got you at 3 and 5. Is that what it is?
Overall?
Hey, there's a rumor
overall?
up here. Now, I know somebody on this desk is going to escape for a couple of days, but there's a rumor somebody might dress up as the Brown Bandit for Halloween.
Oh, wow. I like that idea.
Wow.
That's funny.
Does Mrs. Bandit ever dress up as the Brown Bandit?
That's none of your business, Jim.
Yeah.
In
my head, she does.
Hey, the way you're trending right now, you're going to be stealing candy from kids on Thursday night.
I do not steal. I know there was that issue with those elderly ladies at the retirement home, but they got all their money back, so that's not stealing.
Yeah, give us a treat, for God's sakes. No more tricks, man.
No more tricks. So I made a promise earlier this month that Locktober would be a winning month for us, right? We're 2-2 in Locktober, so this will make it a winning month. When I hit this pick, Locktober is going to be a winning month.
Who's the biggest dog on the board?
Locktober is going to be a winning month for us. We're going to finish 3-2 at least in Locktober.
Listen, Locktober sounds aggressive, like it's going to dominate. You're just fighting now for a winning month in Locktober?
We're just going to finish with a winning month in October. We got to find the victories where we can. We're like Auburn football. What?
I think I know where you're going.
No, I don't think you do.
Well, you've got to go big underdog, right?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I'm just looking for a dub.
Okay.
We're going to chip this away in November and end up taking the lead.
Chopping wood.
We're just going to keep chopping wood in November and end up taking the lead.
So you're going Rutgers?
I'm not going Rutgers.
Florida.
Okay. No, I'm not going Florida. I got it drawn right here on the
San
board.
Diego State.
I've got it drawn right here, and I'm going to show you guys.
We want to guess it.
I am going to say it is one of my worst logos of all time. I've picked this team before, and they've got a far more complicated logo than this one.
South Kakalaki?
But I was late arriving today. South Kakalaki, only a 2.5-point dog. Jim can't go with them. I'd like to play that game.
We didn't do the rules graphic.
Rice is a tough
Rice
logo.
is tough, yeah, but that's not it. This has got a complicated logo. I've drawn it before. I tried to go with a more simplistic logo and made it worse, actually.
Wyoming
is not the pick. Again, got it right here on the board.
I mean, if Maine was on the board.
Maine?
A black bear?
The black bear would be tough.
I mean, Dunaway put it on our board. I don't know why. You can't even bet on it.
They're playing the game.
I know.
So I'm picking a team that's going against a coach that is in some serious trouble. So much trouble that he's fired as defensive coordinator and he's taken back over play calling.
Ooh.
And it's not going to work. It is unfortunately not going to work for the Gus Bus. Give me the Wildcats of Arizona. They are catching 6.5 points in sunny Orlando. They're not worried about that because they play in sunny Tucson, so the weather's not going to matter. 6.5 points, Arizona. Guys, look, I know I say this all the time. We do not need these points. Arizona wins this game outright.
I think he's tapped out based on that logo.
No, we close Locktober. I'm just going simplistic. This is back to the basics, Lance. This
if you've hit 5 straight, that logo's better.
This is
and
like,
you got a cactus hanging out of it.
This is like firing my defensive coordinator and taking over play calling. That's this logo right here. That's what I've done. And that's what Gus has done. And it's why he's going to lose the game. We do not need the points plus the 6.5. Arizona, you're welcome. We close out October with a win here. This puts us 3-2 in October.
I mean, if we didn't have audio, if you're just watching, I almost think Brown just picked the American Conference instead of Arizona.
Yeah,
That's
really.
how bad that logo is.
Do we have his old Arizona on file anywhere?
Probably. I think there's
where
a photo.
we can show you how good it was when the Brown Bandit was on.
Oh,
and how he's tapped out.
I may have it next segment.
If you'll go back to the NCAA tournament, Ryan Brown, not the Brown Bandit, picked Arizona to win the whole thing and had that Arizona logo up for a very long time until Arizona lost in the NCAA tournament.
You did. I thought LT had drawn it best, but you're right.
No. Brown really did a good job.
It was Brown.
Spent a lot of time on that. So Arizona plus the 6.5. We do not need them. We do not need them.
I think somebody is going to end up winning this in the final weeks with a massive dog.
Yeah, I'm just going to be honest with you guys because I don't mind telling you my strategy.
Are you going to start chasing?
We start swinging for the fences in November. So this is going to end October with a win. We go 3-2, and I'm like, okay, that's a winning month. You know what you do after a winning month? You start trying to hit home runs.
Yeah, see, I think Dunaway's going to sandbag.
Yeah, he is. Dunaway's going to pick, somebody's plus 4.5.
You mean 5.5 last week, Brown?
Yes, he's going to sandbag. I am swinging for the fences. So thank you guys. Good to see you.
Man, I thought it was so good, Brownie. I saved it, but I did not save that Arizona logo.
That's unfortunate.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah, I'd love to
All
see
right,
it.
that is McCurry Van and Car Rental Upset Alert of the Week. Brownie's back now to tell us about McCurry.
McCurryRentals.com. It's where you go to get those hard-to-find trucks, SUVs, passenger vans, cars. You rent from McCurry, McCurryRentals.com.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, and we do appreciate you guys this time of year, never to tell the true story of the Brown Bandit for another generation, so
That's
that
right.
we can pass this down on to other generations.
It only works if there's mystery.
Not really who dresses up as the Brown Bandit.
Right.
Johnston RV Center gets us to the top of the hour. Brownie, tell us about Johnston RV. The leaves are falling. It's a great time. Great weather to go see America.
I-65 exit 304 in Coleman. 334 in Decatur. We were right there last night coming back from Huntsville. Right next door to our guy Nick Johnston and Johnston RV Center.
I wonder if he's ever got one of those things we got last night.
A Frosty?
A Frosty.
They were good. And we drove by the exit 304 location. You can go there right now and get travel trailers as low as $145 a month.
I may need to give you a 20, by the way.
Fifth wheel starting at $45,000. Just keep it. RV warranty forever. Savings on the fifth wheel is $45,000. RV warranty forever. Make sure you are covered lifetime on anything new and qualifying pre-owned at Johnston RV Center. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman. 334 in Decatur. Always online. JohnstonRVCenter.com.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Bright Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hey, this is Matt Roth, the franchisee of Walk On Sports Bistro in Birmingham. With the kickoff of football season, come visit us at one of our 3 locations, Stadium Trace, Greystone, or Trussville. Come enjoy our scratch kitchen menu while watching one of our 80 TVs. Whether you're looking for a pre- or post-game celebration, game day, or date night, we've got you covered. It's all about the win at Walk On Sports Bistro. Walk On, where everybody needs a little playing time.
Hey, you. Feel that? That's fall in the air. And New Balance Birmingham got your fresh fall pair. To kick it during game time and sport from the sideline. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham. We got now.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, CoverCrimson.com and TheBarnAuburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Our friends at Milo's Hamburger invites you to join them in the fight against hunger in our local communities by bringing non-perishable food items to your local Milo's, including canned goods. When you donate a canned good or any non-perishable food item, Milo's will give you a free drink. Together, we can make a difference.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Fast-paced college football this half hour. Next 30 minutes, we're going to bounce around and do a lot of big games this upcoming weekend, a lot of hurt feelings, and one guy who's calling his shot in a big game this weekend. All that, LTD&B, final hour of the show. Tyler and Forrester behind the big glass, making it all work back there. EG's down in Auburn as we speak. She's, after the trip up to Huntsville last night, down there in Auburn, getting ready for the big Vandy-Auburn game. She'll have coverage on our social media platform at Next Round Live everywhere. And that gets us to Taylor Korn, who was with us in Huntsville last night as well, providing us with highlights and all the coverage up there and all basketball season long from the arena nearest you. Taylor, everything at Next Round Live, our social media director. All right. Football this hour being brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, champy'schicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Sterling and the crew there will take care of you. For lunch right now, doors open 4 minutes ago. Destination lunch, great way to break up the work day with a signature lunch, chicken that's brined overnight, cooked to order, juicy all the way down to the bone, hand-cut chicken fingers, Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, and everything else. It's Champy's world famous fried chicken. Do you guys, give me cut forward, Tyler, do you guys really think in a good atmosphere in a big game that it makes a difference whether the game kicks at 2:30 in the afternoon or at 6:30 at night?
Yes.
Is there an advantage for the home team to kick at 6:30 and not 2:30?
Yeah. I mean, I just think you've been on college campuses. Now, generally when we're there, it's a big game, so it's probably going to be crazy either way. But it just gets more and more ramped up the later the day goes. Some of that is alcohol-induced. Some of it is just excitement-induced. I mean,
I have seen it get overhyped going into a night game, if you guys will follow me for a second. So sometimes the crowd is perfect at 2:30. I do agree more times than not, the later the game is, the more amped up the crowd is. But I have seen multiple cases in Tuscaloosa, two come to mind. The first one would be Nick Saban's first season, that Georgia game. And I think Saban and Alabama were 3-0 or 4-0. Georgia was the same game day was in town. It was a game that went to overtime.
Night game, though, right?
Yeah, Stafford dropped it in. Just walking around, I mean, that crowd was destroyed, like from partying all day. And the same thing happened in 2011 for the game of the century. So I think sometimes the crowd can get overhyped. So 2:30 might be the right fit depending on how wild the crowd is. But the majority of the time, I think the later the game, the better.
I think 2019 Alabama LSU too a little hurt. I think the crowd was worn out then for a 2:30 game with the security of having candidate Trump at the time or President Trump at the time there at the game, the extra security, the crowd that was there for that. It was almost game of the century too, it felt like. And Alabama jumped out early and then they ran out of gas, I felt like the crowd did. So I've seen crowds be worn out at 2:32 and then not get ready to go at 11. But I think I agree with you guys. I think for whatever reason in the Southeastern Conference, that 6:30 kick is an ideal kick time.
Now, I would say in a big game, whether you're at Neyland or Bryant-Denny or Jordan-Hare or wherever, it's only a marginal difference between a 2:30 and a 6.
Is it enough to say this? Here's Lane Kiffin this week. Apparently Ole Miss isn't getting any night home SEC games. Here's Lane.
And they just announced November 9th kickoffs, 2:30 for y'all against Georgia. So you got 2 morning, 2 afternoon kicks left from your perspective or coaching perspective, is there any advantage at all to playing day to night kickoffs?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's proven over time in NFL and college. Playing at night in electric atmospheres is a home field advantage, and tough when you got to do that as a opposing team. So that's been proven for a long time. And so who won at night? LSU gets to play at night again, I guess. Shocker. So that's 2 for 2 for them. It is an advantage. I feel bad for our fans, to not have one night conference game is really unfortunate for them. And so whatever. It's just really disappointing, but it is what it is.
What do you think?
Well, he does bitch a lot. And LSU just beat you. I think, this is all ratings dictated. And does Ole Miss really draw?
Not as much as Alabama, LSU.
No.
I mean, it's Georgia, Ole Miss, but not as much as. I mean, it'll be a great rating.
Oh, but I will say, if I was Lane Kiffin, I'd be pissed about it too.
Yeah, I think I would too, because for his chance to beat Georgia, stay alive in the playoff race if they can beat Arkansas, playing them at night would make it a little bit more difficult for Georgia. Alabama would say, give us 2:30 down in Baton Rouge instead of the Saturday night. But there's that. It's part of the SEC tradition, right? Saturday night in Baton Rouge. They're going to get a nod. They're going to get the nod.
Yeah, wait, so what time is Ole Miss, Georgia?
2:30.
Okay. That's it's a
great double.
It's a great window.
It's a triple header. It's Florida, Texas, which may not be a good game. It's two pretty good brands, though, Florida and Texas. I think Florida's playing well enough to keep it close.
I'm smiling right here because it feels like Florida has crawled out of the swamp, out of the woods a little bit, and it feels good to be a Florida fan again. And here's the cocktail party. Next week you're telling me we play Texas?
Yeah, they got Georgia, Texas, and LSU.
I forget how hard the schedule was at the end.
I know, but you got Georgia, Texas, you've got Ole Miss, Georgia. Or excuse me, you got Florida, Texas, Ole Miss, Georgia, and Alabama, LSU. It's a heck of a triple header. Like ABC has hit it out of the park this year.
Unbelievable.
We talked about this, and Saturday was almost another day. I had to turn off Navy Notre Dame. It just got so out of hand. But there have been multiple Saturdays where ABC has been on my main TV the entire day. I've not had to change it.
If they'd moved game day over there,
yeah,
it'd be 8 o'clock on.
Like it's one of those, like if you only back in the old school days when you only had one TV and you didn't want to get up and change it all the time. This year you could have left it on ABC and been just fine.
Just fine.
And the ratings have shown that too. I mean, it has destroyed. Like I just saw some weird ratings, by the way, that I don't know how this is possible, but Alabama, Missouri ended up with more viewers than LSU and Texas A&M, which baffles me because that LSU-Texas A&M game was the biggest game in the country. But it has been shown, 100%. I know
that's impossible, I think.
It is not impossible.
It was a blowout.
It's literally the ratings ESPN released.
Missouri had a jukebox propped up, a quarterback propped up against a jukebox.
They did. I mean, I am not telling you that Alabama, Missouri was a good game. That is not my purpose in bringing this up.
Oh, all I'm saying is it was hard for Jimmy Bama to watch the rest of that game. Nobody else tuned out around the country?
According to Austin Karp of Sports Business Journal.
Big fish.
The Nebraska-Ohio State game had 5.96 million viewers. It was number one this week. Missouri, Alabama, 5.5 million. LSU, Texas A&M, 5.1. Now, the contributing factor there is in that same window, Penn State, Wisconsin got 3.5 million.
So we spread it out this week.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's in that same window. But Alabama, I mean, when Alabama, Missouri was playing, Illinois, Oregon got 2.7 million in the same window. We've shown it doesn't matter where you put the games. People are going to watch them.
Yeah, because of 11 a.m. Fox.
Like the biggest, you guys know, the highest rated game this week, beyond a shadow of a doubt, is going to be Ohio State, Penn State.
It will
be. It's going to kick at 11 a.m.
But I just don't like the 11 o'clock window.
I know.
If that game was, for Penn State, James Franklin won't say it, but he could say, he won't say it because Fox is paying them $1.3 billion a year to broadcast their games. But if James Franklin got a shot of the honesty juice and sat behind the microphone, he'd be like, I can't believe this game's at 11 o'clock.
Oh, he'd rather have it at night.
White out at night gives us a better advantage at Happy Valley. This game should be in prime time.
But if you also asked him, we'll give you $7 million a year to coach us, and you can play all your games at prime time, or you can follow the TV lead, and we're going to give you $10 million.
Pass my Cheerios. Let's go to the stadium.
I'll play every game at 11 o'clock.
Do you think the SEC should step it now? Because to Lance's point, if you're the SEC, ESPN's cutting you a big, big check. and you're kind of inclined to say ESPN gets what they want when they pay that kind of money. Would you step in and mandate, all right, every single team has to have at least one game in each window?
No.
It wouldn't be that hard to manipulate that.
No.
You would say no.
I wouldn't want that. I want to do what's best for the television partner.
It
I want to do what's best for the fan.
That we do have. I mean, you correct me if I'm wrong. Does everybody not get those windows and
Not
it just
at home.
happens?
Not necessarily at home.
Okay.
Like Ole Miss has played the primetime game at LSU, and I'm having a hard time remembering any other primetime game they've played.
Seems like they've been in at 11 a lot.
I know. I got Ole Miss Kentucky, I think was 11. Ole Miss Oklahoma was 11, if memory serves. Ole Miss Wake was that weird CW game, but that was on the road. But I mean, I'm kind of with you. I think you just let TV do what they want to do, put the games where they want to put them.
And we played the biggest game in the SEC for 20 years at 2:30, except for 2 times a year. So there's nothing wrong with 2:30. And by the way, Lane, if you're worried about using the fancy lights in Oxford, time change this week. So it'll be dark at halftime.
Yeah.
You'll get to use all the fancy lights.
Time
and the
doesn't
music.
change till Sunday. Oh, he's talking about the next week.
Yeah,
You're right. Yeah. So
I'm not always wrong over here.
I know.
Easy to correct.
I know. It is.
Easy to correct.
I know you're right. I mean, by the second half, they can use all the lights they want.
Yeah. Play all the music, whatever your version of Dixieland Delight or Callin' Baton Rouge, whatever that is over there. I guess it's a Morgan Wallen song. I don't know.
I would have thought, Lance, you guys have been to Oxford. I would have thought the Ole Miss fans like the 2:30 kick the most because they can tailgate before and tailgate after.
Grove before, Grove after.
Oh, but at night I've been there for a night game.
They go deep into the night?
Yeah.
Tailgating?
Yeah.
Why not?
I mean, that's fine. I would have just thought, though, 2:30 would be perfect. I get a good tailgate before.
Yeah, the problem with the tailgating
after.
out there, and I know they got chandeliers and stuff. People are tripping over bodies and coolers.
Yeah.
And
it's crowded.
Yeah, the visibility's not great at night.
Yeah.
All right, more college football to the big one that goes at 11 o'clock. Penn State playing host to Ohio State. After I remind you about a couple of great sponsors. One of those is our friends at the Pants Store. Pantstore.com, pantstore.com. No matter where you are watching us right now, you don't have to go to one of the great locations across Alabama. You can order all the great gear that is just all over college campuses or just in the stands in general. All the Alabama Auburn polos, hats, and quarter zips that gets you ready for game day. Locations in Leeds, the original, near campus in Auburn and Tuscaloosa, up in Huntsville where we were last night, in Birmingham. You get all the game day gear from Gentile Antigua, Cutter Buck, Horn Legend, the dresses and the fall fashions for the ladies with free alterations and free gift wrapping. It's all at the Pants Store. Pantstore.com, pantstore.com. Nothing says Roll Tide and War Eagle like the Pants Store. And also our friends at Academy Sports, Brownie, with that new location just down the hill from us.
That's right. It is right there on Highway 280 and the old Best Buy right there in the Target Shopping Center. That's where you find the brand new Academy Sports and Outdoors. And it is open. Grand opening all month long right there. The best sports equipment, outdoor gear, apparel, and footwear for the brands you love, all at everyday low prices. A wide selection of trusted brands like Nike, Stanley, Brooks, Carhartt, Blackstone, Yeti, Titleist, Shimano, and more. Academy Sports and Outdoors, brand new location, Highway 280 in Birmingham.
Yeah, Royal Payne's right. The way the Big Ten has split up their package, getting more money, I think, than the SEC, bringing in CBS and NBC, but it has ruined the big noon kickoff schedule and or the primetime Big Ten schedule. It's hard to get. And I said this when we were doing the TV package, why ESPN and ABC were slobbering to get the SEC. Because we just have better matchups, better venues, better stadiums, better brands. We can fill out a schedule pretty good. The Big Ten doesn't have the same brands and or stadiums. But, Brown, you also made a point to me yesterday off the air about what the SEC has done a better job at doing with the schedule.
It feels like the SEC has stacked the schedule better for their TV partners than the Big Ten did. And maybe it's just that the SEC, and this is probably true, has more good matchups than the Big Ten.
It's easier for them to set the table.
It is.
I think the this is not a shock, but the SEC has a better teams top to bottom.
They do, which allows you to build better matchups when you have better teams top to bottom. Like, when LSU and Texas A&M was put on the schedule, you didn't know that was going to be the biggest game in the country. There's no way you could have known that. Who knew what Mike Elko would do?
But you knew what would be there? 102,000+ fans at Kyle Field at night.
I mean, in the biggest game last week in the Big Ten, now Fox got a break that Ohio State-Nebraska ended up being a good game, and it was the number one game on TV this past week. But the biggest game was Indiana at home playing Washington.
Yeah. Both those at 11 o'clock, by the way. They didn't even spread those out.
I know, and that was on the Big Ten Network.
Yeah.
It was like, that's how low down the ladder it was when they were picking preseason. None of the big partners wanted Indiana and
I
Washington.
was telling Brown I went to a sports bar, and just for the 11 o'clocks to watch the first half, and they didn't have the Big Ten Network, which was surprising to me.
But, I mean, just think, Lance, of how many bad games Klatt has had to do this year. He did UCLA and Penn State. Yeah. How did that end up being a big new
Let me
kickoff?
ask you this, because I think this is important, too. Which conference has had the bigger upsets? Like, I can name two just popping to mind. Obviously, Vanderbilt over Alabama and Kentucky over Ole Miss. Have we had more massive upsets in the SEC, and have there been bigger upsets in the ACC, Big 12, or Big 10?
I would throw Arkansas, Tennessee into that.
Yeah, you'd have to. That was 14, wasn't it? 13 or 14 was the
yeah,
spread.
it's Tennessee's only loss, right?
Yeah, it is. And that was a 2-touchdown. They were 2-touchdown favorite in that game.
Yeah, Tennessee could be number one in the country right now.
I mean, it's weird, though, because Georgia Tech, Florida State looked like a massive upset.
But it's not now.
I mean, if they played now, Georgia Tech probably be favored in the game. I mean, that's how those two teams have changed.
I mean, you almost have to say Alabama over Georgia. That's pretty big.
It was only 3.
Oh, no.
It was down to 1 at the game, wasn't it?
That's not an upset.
It's not even an upset.
I'm talking double-digit upsets, because those are the ones that really pull people in. You know, you look at that ticker and you're like, oh, damn, I need to switch this. By the way, we only had like one good game in every window this past week.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. I feel like it's going to be that way this weekend. But the good one, Ohio State, Penn State, unless you believe like me, the Buckeyes are about to go in there and spank the Nittany Lions. And I believe that's going to happen. And so, too, maybe, probably not good for him to be talking, but so, too, is Will Howard. Cut number 6, Tyler. Will Howard, by the way, grew up a Penn State fan. Something you may not want to talk about this week. Maybe you do want to talk about it. Will Howard, who some people say is the weakest link to Ohio State winning the national championship, gets a little time at the microphone this week and tells us about his childhood.
I'm stoked. I cannot wait. It's going to be a homecoming for me. I grew up a Penn State fan. I wanted to go there my whole life. They didn't think I was good enough. But I guess we'll see next week if I was.
Wow.
Boy, I mean, this kid's got balls because, coming out of the summer or going into fall camp, he said, it's natty or bust.
That's true, though.
Oh, it is. It is.
How many I wanted to go there, but they wouldn't take me stories do we have in college football? I feel like we get that about every other week.
I don't know if it's said out loud a lot, though.
Yeah, but I feel like every other week, even if the player is not saying it, an analyst is telling me,
Yeah.
Starting quarterback here wanted to go to the other school, and they wouldn't take it.
Will Howard is more confident for himself than I'm confident for Will Howard.
By the way, Will Howard's at a better program. It's almost like almost like he's going back to his high school reunion, taking a hot model, looking at the former cheerleader who's now divorced and saying, I wanted to marry her, but I wasn't good enough.
I thought you were dating Kansas State. No,
before he had the lottery ticket. Like Kansas State was what elevated him to be able to latch on to Ohio State.
I watched this guy, though, and he's not to the elite level. That I don't know if it's him or if Chip Kelly is just, I don't want to use game has passed Chip Kelly by.
The offense is out of sync, though.
It is, and I don't know if that's Chip Kelly or if that's Will Howard. He gets blamed a lot on Will Howard by people I talk to that know the game, that watch that.
Chip Kelly's usually good at running the football. They couldn't run it last week.
They had no hope running it last week.
I think it's an offensive line problem.
Which is surprising because they were supposed to have one of the better offensive lines in football.
Well, they did lose their left tackle. I mean, to be fair, any offensive line that loses their left tackle is going to struggle a little bit.
And they gained one of the more accurate center snappers in Seth McLaughlin.
I mean, has that been an issue? I have not watched every game.
But I told you in the NFL it was an issue all weekend long.
Yeah, it happened to the Dolphins. They had a safety on a snap over a quarterback's head. But isn't that crazy that Seth McLaughlin has moved to Ohio State? I don't think he's had a single. I mean, I can't say that, but I haven't watched him have a bad snap.
I think Seth McLaughlin's camp
would
say that there was some communication issues that caused him to be erratic with his snaps.
Milrose
quarterback.
Cadence, yeah.
And we've seen now the last 2 weeks, maybe 3, that we've had Parker Brailsford, All-American center, not really with bad snaps. He's had a couple that haven't been perfect, but we've had now a crazy number of penalties on the center for a snap violation or a procedure penalty where he's moved an arm or something, almost like he's thought he was supposed to snap it and then ends up not snapping it. So, believe who you want to believe, but when the center is saying it's the quarterback and the quarterback doesn't think it's his fault and it's everywhere, it wasn't working, they both are better off with different locations now.
Yeah, I mean, the story was it was a cadence issue, and I mean, you say that about Brailsford. The snaps are far better this year than they were last year.
It is, but
those
penalties. I mean, it's been at least one in each of the last two games that's been called in the center for, a procedure penalty, a snap violation. Or
now
whatever.
maybe Milroe got better at the cadence too. I mean, give him credit too. Maybe he worked on his cadence over the offseason.
Yeah, absolutely, it was the summer of cicadas.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Okay, one more thing, college football wise, in this segment, brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Brown will give us a MyBookie line update at the end of this segment. But Hemp Hill, I promise you, cooler temperatures are coming. Some people say it's after this weekend.
205-229-2090. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Knock on wood, I hadn't had them out in a while, but I tell you that AC has been screaming. Had it on 68 like the last week. I am so ready for fall weather. We got teased with it for a second, but before you knew it, you're going to have to make sure the heating is running smoothly in your home or business. Our friends at Hemp Hill, they can help out. Trust the name Birmingham's trusted since 1954 for all of these issues. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
All right, so back to the game at Auburn, where Vanderbilt comes to town. And all week long, you're gonna hear people bring up New Mexico State, because Vanderbilt has turned into the New Mexico State All-Star team.
Well, they have.
They brought their quarterback. They brought the QB2, is a great tight end, NFL prospect. They brought their offensive coordinator, and they brought their former head coach, who's assistant to Clark Lee.
Do you think Clark Lee gets another extension, which he got after 21, that he gives a key to the city to Las Cruces?
Thank you very much. Sends it back. Jerry Kill has to take it back and give it to him.
Yeah, I mean, I think, from all these guys, from Tim Beck, the offensive coordinator, to Jerry Kill, the associate head coach, to Diego Pavia, your all SEC first-team quarterback as of right now. It's just been an amazing transformation in how those guys can make that big of an impact, not only on the Vanderbilt program, but really the entirety of the SEC. If it's not for those guys, Alabama beats Vanderbilt, and Alabama's in a college football playoff right now.
Yeah, that is correct.
And one person who's tired of hearing about Diego Pavia? It is Hugh Freeze. Here's the Auburn head coach who has had to watch a lot of Diego Pavia the last 18 months.
I'm sick of seeing that quarterback. I've had enough of him and what a competitor he is, and the job that Clark Lee and his staff have done there. To be in the games and have a chance to win all the games they're playing against the nation's elite is just so impressive. And one of the scariest things, you're basically playing Navy. It doesn't look just like Navy, but you're not. Alabama had 44 real snaps of offensive football against them. Last year when we played him, the first time we touched the ball in the first quarter, I believe, was with 5 minutes and 5 seconds left. That's uncomfortable. And so they know who they are, and they're good being who they are.
It is just so weird that we talk this much about a guy that is 10th in the league in passing. And it's not just we. When I say we, I'm talking about all of college football. I'm not talking about this show. Obviously, we talk a lot about him.
But remember when they beat Virginia Tech? It was supposed to be Virginia Tech's year in that first game, and we were all watching it. And we were like, Vandy could beat Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech was ranked. Man, Vandy's going to beat Virginia Tech. And we came in Monday. Man, it was fun. That may have been the most enjoyable game of the weekend.
Pavia, man, that guy's just so fun to watch.
Probably not a great comparison, but remember when Tim Tebow had Denver winning those games late that year. I think it was 2011.
Yep.
And
When did
they
the
get to
playoffs
the playoffs
lost to the Steelers?
No,
right?
they beat the Steelers.
They beat them. Yeah, it was on that
Demarius
one play.
Thomas,
Yeah,
who no
long
longer
pass.
with us. Yeah,
in overtime.
In overtime.
Near
But
sideline.
It was like Tebow didn't put up numbers, but he just had these intangibles.
Yep.
It was almost like Brock Purdy the year he took Iowa State to the Big 12 championship game. The numbers aren't great.
Need 7 yards, get 7.5.
Yeah, but that's Pavia right now. Look, it ain't going to be flashy. It never will. The guy will never, ever, ever see an NFL, like, he won't even walk in August. And, I mean, I'm just being honest. I mean, the guy's 5'10 and a half.
He'll have to buy a ticket to tour the Cowboys facility.
He's done away with a little more speed, just a little bit.
Yeah. Same gut, probably. He's got a little bit.
He does.
Gut on him.
Again, 10th
enjoys
in
life.
the league in passing. I mean, I wonder what he is nationally in passing. He's 10th in the SEC in passing.
But he is so much fun to watch.
He just makes the play he needs to make. I don't know how else to describe Diego Pavia. And he is 83rd, guys, in the nation in passing. That's in yards per game. 83rd. This is a guy that people are asking questions about. Are you worried about having to face Diego Pavia? The guy's 83rd in the nation in passing.
First team All-SEC quarterback, according to
I
Lance.
don't necessarily disagree.
I mean, you tell me who your guy would be. Like, if you were voting right now.
Everybody's got flaws.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing.
Have I enjoyed watching him? I have, except for one game. But I enjoyed watching him.
But you have to admit he was good in that game.
He was great in that game. It was. I mean, I think I actually told Maggie or somebody that, I hate losing, but that was sort of an entertaining football game. I would say most of the country called that one of the top 10 games of the year, as far as the enjoyment factor. When we come back, LT has trash today, and some more college football coming up. The show being brought to you by our friends at Champy's, world famous fried chicken, champyschicken.com. You go by there, you see Sterling and the crew, and swing by there. We talk about the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales all the time. So good. The fried chicken, the hand-cut chicken fingers, perfect for a tailgate. Got the po' boys there. If you like a good shrimp po' boy, a good fried chicken po' boy, they've got that. Unbelievable sweets as well, like a Mississippi mud pie. They make that right there. It's all at Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Go by and see Sterling and the crew as well. On the other side, Brown's going to update us on some point spreads for the weekend. Some of those big games, that Ohio State-Penn State game, too close to make our upset alert. A lot of people love Ohio State in that one. Does Tennessee have a hard time in the battle for the old beer barrel they used to play for? Kentucky and Tennessee in Knoxville this weekend. And that sneaky number, Texas A&M at South Carolina, is part of the conversation when we come back on the next round.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Your new Academy Sports and Outdoors is now open in Birmingham with the best in sports equipment, outdoor gear, apparel, and footwear from the brands you love, and all at low prices every day. Academy Sports and Outdoors carries a wide selection of trusted brands like Nike, Stanley, Brooks, Carhartt, Blackstone, Yeti, Titleist, Shimano, and more. Plus, you can shop online or on the app with free in-store pickup or enjoy free shipping to your home on purchases over $25. Your new Academy Sports and Outdoors is located at 4610 U.S. Highway 280 in Birmingham.
Buying that perfect home is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make, so it's crucial that you have the right partner to help you through the process. Hi, I'm Lisa Zeig, Vice President Mortgage Loan Officer for Bryant Bank, and I'm here to tell you that we are that partner, making it easy to buy with confidence. We offer a variety of mortgage products to fit your unique home buying situation. That kind of hassle-free approach might not be what you'd expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give me a call today or visit one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama and let me show you what banking beyond expectation is all about.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Hey, this is Matt Roth, the franchisee of Walk On Sports Bistro in Birmingham. With the kickoff of football season, come visit us at one of our 3 locations, Stadium Trace, Greystone, or Trussville. Come enjoy our scratch kitchen menu while watching one of our 80 TVs. Whether you're looking for a pre- or post-game celebration, game day, or date night, we've got you covered. It's all about the win at Walk On Sports Bistro. Walk On, where everybody needs a little playing time.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trussville. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hey, you. Feel that? That's fall in the air. And New Balance Birmingham got your fresh fall pair. To kick it during game time and sport from the sideline. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Can I bring that up?
Sure.
Tyler, you're going to love this. So AI is 100% going to take over the world. Like, iRobot is going to be a real thing. I thought it was laughable back in the day, but I am totally convinced. So
I think I can actually explain this. Go ahead and
I
tell
think
us.
I know what story you're about to tell.
So I was trying to figure out what we're going to do for Halloween. We try to dress up here each and every year, and I really was just at a loss. I couldn't come up with something. I had a good combo that I would have had to bring Maddie in with me, but if she wasn't hanging out, it wouldn't be something that would be funny or people would understand.
Wasn't it called, didn't you call it off color?
It was off color, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But it would have, I think it would have been entertaining for a lot of our viewers and
Will you
listeners.
tell me what it is?
Yeah, I'll tell you what it was.
Okay.
Yeah. So that wasn't going to work out, so I was racking my brain. And so this morning, I brought it up to her. I've got an idea. I told her the idea. My bag and laptop are in a completely different room. So she told me, hey, I'll work on this for you. So my bag and laptop come with me to work.
Yep.
She's at the house. I get a text from her, and she said, hey, I've got this handled for you. And now on my laptop, this one piece of the costume continues to pop up. I have not Googled it. I have not talked about it on my phone. Now, obviously, this is probably linked to my credit card somehow.
That's going to be your
But how
deal
is this
there.
even possible?
Or whatever email was used for the purchase.
That's it, yeah.
Or just sometimes your Wi-Fi network.
No, I am convinced AI is going to be our downfall.
Or she Googled it.
Not with this.
Not with that, but if she Googled it at your house, it was on the Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's on the Wi-Fi too.
I guess.
Scary. Downfall of society, according to you.
Bobby, not a pimp and a hooker. Not a pimp and a hooker.
Wow, that would be off color, though.
I think we could have gotten away with the pimp and a hooker. It was a little more creative.
Yeah.
and a little more maybe edgy if you got down to it. But
Okay.
I'll tell you.
You'll tell me. But you've got another one you're going
Yeah,
with.
I mean, I've got it. Now we're done. Now, as long as Amazon's able to deliver this by tomorrow, which they guarantee delivery.
You've got yours?
Mine came in last Thursday.
Okay.
So I've got it ready to go.
Scott, are you good?
Scott?
Yeah, I think I know what I'm going to do.
Okay. Dunaway is on his way to Vegas, so he'll not be participating this
And
year.
I would say I would be jealous, but he's going for 5 nights, which
You
that would be
dead.
body bag. I don't
Yeah.
know anybody that goes to Vegas for 5 nights.
That's going to be Jim Dunaway. So he's on his way to Vegas, so he'll not participate. EG, I think, has hers, and Little T, I think, has hers. I think, but I know I've got mine.
Do we know what trophy Taylor's going with
We
this
don't.
year?
I've tried not to
What color
ruin
spray
it.
paint?
It likes to be. I like it to be. A surprise.
I hope she's a Stanley Cup.
That would be good.
I just got to waddle around.
I had some other good ideas too. But,
Yeah, for Taylor or for you?
For me and a couple of others.
Okay. Yeah. Well, keep them because
We just got to watch it because this is a visual and it never goes away, right?
Yeah, that is correct. My idea that I am doing, the one I am doing this year, is an idea from more than a year ago that somebody actually gave to me. It's show related. If you watch and listen to the show every day, you're going to get the joke. The problem of mine is when Taylor sends the photos out, nobody's going to know who I am unless you watch the show. But I'm okay with that. I do it for the laughs of our audience, not the laughs of the people that don't watch the show every day. I'll take any laughs I can get.
Now, do you ever do a run through? Like a couple of, I will never be able to top Tupac. It's going to be impossible because we had the starter tattoo kit that nobody, and people were like, "Are those real tats?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've got an AK on my, I've got Thug Life across my core."
On your stomach.
Yeah. But that'll never be topped. But that was one of those I could never do a run through. So it was just like, I'm going to show up. I'm going to the green room. Help me out. Let's put this thing together and roll out. The same with McAfee. I never did a run through with that. Have you been able to do a run through with yours?
Yep.
Okay.
Mine's pretty simple. That's one thing I've generally done is kept it fairly simple. I was Coach Prime last year. Very simple. I was trying. Who else have I been? I've been Coach Prime. I was Top Gun.
You're Maverick.
I was Maverick when Brian Harsin got fired.
You were Bobby Petrino.
Petrino, yep.
I've been Bobby Petrino, yep. So those are mine. So, I've kept mine pretty simple. And this one also is simple. It will take me, I can do it during a break. No makeup, no nothing.
Me too. I actually went sports related this year too.
Oh, look at Tyler.
Yeah, this is a step up from the inflatable dinosaur.
That's true. I liked the inflatable dinosaur last year.
Yeah, we've had some interesting ones. I still think, not because it was me, I think Tupac was the GOAT, though.
Tupac was fantastic. Like, you were in makeup for at least an hour, and it involved your girlfriend and another employee at an entire different organization on this hallway.
I mean, they had to sticker me up. It took like 30 minutes to put that stuff on. But no, I was in it all day. You don't remember?
I do.
So not only for the last 3 hours, we were doing 4 hours, and the last 3 hours of the show, then we had clients come up, and we're in the lobby drinking beer, and I've got a wife beater on. And the worst is walking down the hall with all these tats.
I know.
With the skull cap, the nose ring. It was very interesting.
All right, mybookie.ag. Lance, just your thought on a few of these point spreads, okay? Ohio State holding is a 3.5-point road favorite at Penn State.
The number's right. I don't feel good about either way. Again, it's 11 o'clock. I probably try to avoid that. You did see me sneak at 11 o'clock in with Notre Dame and win that last week. I don't feel good enough about this game either way. I probably would lean Penn State, honestly, and I don't think Penn State's very good. I just think it's a spot that Ohio State is going to have so much pressure on them. I think they're the better team, but I don't know if they necessarily win this game.
My gut pick that I went away from was Arkansas +7 at home against Ole Miss. Almost wrote it right here on this whiteboard and went with it. I felt like I was chasing Arkansas because I had State against them last week. So I was like, I'm just chasing ghost at this point.
Let me ask you this. Can you get a Taylor Green back-to-back performances like he did against Mississippi State?
It's a great question. If you do, Ole Miss loses that game, but he's not been able to do that.
And I don't see Jackson Dart do what Michael Van Buren. Michael Van Buren finally played like a freshman. I mean, they turned the ball over nonstop this past Saturday, and obviously if Taylor Green turns it over against Ole Miss is a much better team than Arkansas.
Vanderbilt +6.5 at Auburn. Auburn is 6.5-point home favorite.
Oh.
It just feels high.
It feels really high.
I've yet to talk to an Auburn fan that's not like, how on earth are we favored 6.5 over anybody, much less Vanderbilt?
I mean, Auburn's got the better roster.
Yeah.
I think Auburn, with the way they played in the second half, probably with confidence. And Vanderbilt's got to be banged up with a physical game against Texas.
Yeah. 2.5 is the Texas A&M point spread. They are a 2.5-point favorite at South Carolina. Fascinating night game.
Yeah, I like South Carolina in this spot. I think South Carolina wins the game outright. You know, an A&M, Mike Elko guy. That is one of those nighttime where we talk about the atmosphere.
Oh, yeah.
And
Williams
you've been
Bryce.
over there. Yeah, Williams-Brice, they get after it. They will they still feel like this is kind of a special season brewing. I think they like what Shane Beamer's doing. I think South Carolina wins this game outright.
That would get them, if they are able to win that game, gets them to 5-3, and then they are at Vanderbilt next week. But then they host Missouri, very winnable game for them. Host Wofford, there's your 6th game in a bowl. And then you got Clemson on the road. I mean, it's a tough one, obviously. But,
but South Carolina is good enough to put a dagger in Clemson's heart. Again, comes back. Rivalry weekend's going to be outstanding. We're going to see multiple upsets. We're going to see multiple teams kept out of the college football playoff because of that final week.
MyBookie.ag is where you find all those point spreads. Code next round when you sign on right there at MyBookie.ag. You make your initial deposit. They double that deposit. That's their bonus right now with code next round. MyBookie.ag, code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag, code next round. Tuesday night football and college starts back tonight. You got Game 4 of the World Series tonight. You've got NBA regular season tonight. You've got NFL back Thursday. You can play all of that at MyBookie.ag, code next round at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag, code next round. Time now for trash. Tyler, would you please hit the button? Thank you.
Well, shit. What are y'all doing? This is awful. It's still March. How many days in March?
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
By the way, on Halloween night, I know you don't go out. Do you have a lot of trick-or-treaters?
Not as much.
I just wonder if that's still a thing. I don't get any.
Part of it is, so the big trick-or-treating street in my neighborhood is 1 block over.
Where the hot dog stand.
Where the hot dog stand used to be. So most people just hit that street. If you come to my street, it's a cul-de-sac, so you've only got like 4 houses in the cul-de-sac there. So, yeah, it's less to choose from. The other street's a much longer street. You can just keep going. What we get a lot of is little kids. They don't want to get out on one of the main streets, so they come back in a cul-de-sac so it's safe, and they're going to go to bed.
Yeah, and you've got one of those neighborhoods where you get a lot of people that don't even live in the neighborhood.
Yeah, a lot of people invite people over, which is great. I love that. It's a very festive atmosphere.
Hey, it is buying season. Our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Veteran founded here in Birmingham, offer loans throughout the country while the area they serve may have grown. Their commitment to Birmingham and veterans has not changed. Before you take the next steps on a new home purchase or refinance, talk with the team at Mortgage Right. No cost or obligation to find out what you qualify for. You can get more information. Go to their website, mortgageright.com, or you can call 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. You a big Timothée Chalamet fan?
I cannot confidently say that I have ever watched Timothée Chalamet in any movie in my life.
I'm assuming you never saw Dune.
No,
never saw Dune.
I'll tell you this.
The Willy Wonka remake that came out recently?
Did not. No.
Yeah, he was the Too Cool for School guy in Lady Bird, which is a great movie, by the way.
Never seen it.
But, watching him in Dune, he actually pulls that part off. To me, he is a good actor. The Bob Dylan movie, I really don't care anything about seeing, and I might stumble across it.
Bob Dylan movie does nothing for me. I don't watch that preview and be like, oh,
I'm just not a Bob Dylan guy.
Yeah, I'm not really either.
And this is how old Bob Dylan is. Bob Dylan played My First Homecoming in Tuscaloosa.
Oh, that's crazy.
At Coleman Coliseum.
Yeah.
And guess who didn't go?
You.
Me.
Are you going to see the Bob Dylan movie? Do you have any interest in it?
I am going to see it.
He doesn't miss some movies.
I see everything. I've seen 93 or 94 movies by now this year. I'm excited for Edward Norton's performance.
Wait,
94 movies this year?
Yeah, it's something like that. I might have forgotten to add one to the list. I've got to keep a running list of everything now.
How many
serial moviegoer?
That's in theaters.
That's just in theaters.
Okay.
I haven't dove into the streaming releases yet.
I probably, even with all of the football, and I probably watched bits of 25 college games this weekend, 7 or 8 NFL games, and I watched 3 movies over the weekend.
You know how many movies I've been to in a theater this year? 1.
It was If, right?
Yeah, that is correct. You even remember it. I couldn't remember the name the other day. I was telling somebody.
So police had to shut down a Timothée Chalamet lookalike contest over the weekend. On Sunday, fans organized a Timothée Chalamet lookalike competition, promoted it with posters around the city, leading to many surprises in Washington Square Park. Now, according to reports from NBC New York, hundreds of people gathered near the park's arc around 1 p.m., including fans dressed up as the 28-year-old actor's famous characters such as Willy Wonka from Wonka, Bob Dylan from the upcoming biopic A Complete Unknown. At one point, the Oscar nominee surprised the crowd at the unofficial competition with a video of his arrival captured by the AP and by fans on X, showing him waving, greeting fans, and posing for photos as he pushes his way through the crowd as fans scream. New York Police Department officers quickly arrived on the scene, tried to disperse the crowd for gathering without a permit. Police spokesperson told the outlet that at least one person was detained and issued summons. In a video shared by at least one attendee to X alleged that the event's organizer was arrested. In the video captured by the AP, police can be heard blaring sirens and announcing, quote, "You're all going to get summonses," over a megaphone to encourage the crowd to disperse.
So did Timothy Chalamet actually show up at all?
Yes, that was the.
That was him and that other one?
Yep,
Okay, that's actually
that's
him.
him in the hat.
Okay.
Dude, he's got some lip cheese
He does,
there.
does he?
He didn't win though. The guy dressed as Wonka won.
That was the winner.
He got the $50.
The dude with the shaggy hair to the right of the top hat.
Yeah, that's a pretty good Paul costume.
Yeah, not bad.
I mean, you could tell me Timothy Chalamet was in my driveway and I wouldn't go outside to see him.
Now, how many of these guys?
Really care.
Because we had, now these were two really, really drunk girls at Talladega. Do you remember they believed that Dunaway was Michael Keaton?
Michael Keaton, yeah, they did. Now, again, really, I don't know if he had enough reallys and they're drunk.
Yeah, and they did get their pictures made with him. I just wonder how many of these guys decided to go to said bar around the corner in New York and pose. Now, I would think that Timothy Chalamet probably doesn't dress up as Wonka on a normal Saturday.
I would think so.
Doubtful. That was the third remake of Wonka, though, right? Because Johnny Depp did one, too.
Yeah, the only good one's the Gene Wilder.
I liked the Gene Wilder as a kid. It's got some disturbing, for me anyway, like the grandparents sleeping head to toe in the bed never made sense to me.
That's how they used to do it back in the day.
And the fact that the grandpa was so lazy that he was just laying
He just hops out of bed like it's nothing. He was never hurt.
I
He was
know.
never
He's
sick.
just lazy, and he's just laying in bed. And then you get something you want to do, and you jump out of bed.
Allergic to work.
That's right.
Allergic to showers.
Yeah, and
Can you imagine what the toenails on that old man look like?
I don't even want to think about it.
So thieves with a nose for fine cheese have pulled a massive cheddar ripoff in London. Neil's Yard Dairy said a con artist posing as a wholesale distributor for a major French retailer is made off with 48,488 pounds of award-winning cheddar worth $390,000
Dare I
before the
say,
company realized it.
That's a lot of cheddar. What are you going to do with this? What's your game plan here?
Make a big quesadilla.
That'd be a good one. I mean, that's $360,000 of cheddar, so you've got to fence that somehow, right? You got to sell it.
Yeah.
Who are you selling a big roll of cheddar to?
Yeah, and
the black market cheese
I guess so.
It's going to get out that somebody's selling a lot of cheese, right?
Exactly. When you show up trying to sell this cheddar, they're going to be like, oh, that's probably, I'm going to guess, the guy that stole all that cheese.
Detectives at Scotland Yard and international authorities are searching for the culprits. Nearly 1,000 wheels of cloth-wrapped cheese from 3 makers have gone missing. Hofford Welsh Organic Cheddar, the Westcombe Cheddar, and the Pitchfork Cheddar.
Not the
Dairy
Pitchfork.
Sells a wedge of half-odd cheddar for $16.70 for 9.5 ounces. They said that Neil's Yard Dairy has asked international cheesemongers to be on the lookout for the stolen cheese.
That's right.
Particularly in the 22-pound and the 52-pound blocks.
If you are a cheesemonger, heads up.
Who isn't?
I probably am as uneducated on fine cheese as I am on anything. I don't think I've ever even tried fine cheese. Like, Boar's Head is probably the peak of my cheese.
That's good stuff.
Oh, it is good
Yeah,
stuff. I
I'll
like
go
it, Tyler.
to, they shut down Fresh Market out by us.
That's
But
right,
Fresh
yep.
Market had, right across from the wine, they had a nice refrigerated area of different cheeses, and I would just snag different cheeses here and there. But I'm like you. I mean, I like the majority of cheeses, but if you did blind taste test.
Like, I just wonder if I went to, where is the cheese capital of the world? France? Like, if I went to Paris and I was like, they were like, this is the finest cheese there is. If I could even tell the difference.
Well,
like,
some
do
is so
you taste it?
pungent.
Yeah.
Like, would the smell bother you before you could eat it?
Probably so. But do you taste that cheese and just go, man, this is life-changing for me.
But
Wisconsin is officially the cheese capital of the world.
Oh,
but
is it?
I don't think they've got the stinky cheeses there.
Yeah, I think we're just boring.
It's
Isn't it just like American and cheddar?
Yeah. That's just normal cheese.
But is that where Tillamook's from? Because Tillamook's
That's your favorite, yeah.
When a North Carolina man headed to a convenience store on Tuesday, he had no idea luck was on his side. Jerry Hicks, master carpenter from Banner Elk, found a $20 bill in the parking lot of the store, said in a news release, spent it on a scratch-off lottery ticket, and won $1 million.
Good.
Hicks used the money to buy an extreme cash scratch-off, according to the release. Quote, they actually didn't have the ticket I was looking for, so I bought the other one instead. Hicks claimed his prize on Friday at the North Carolina Education Lottery headquarters, chose to receive the prize as a lump sum of $600,000 instead of the annuity over 20 years. After taxes, he took home $429,000. Plans to use the money to help his children and retire as a carpenter after 56 years. Quote, we're heading straight to Golden Corral and going to eat everything they've got.
Absolutely. That is where you go when you win the lottery is Golden Corral.
I noticed our boy Scott Banks in Denver is watching, and I remember when they opened the Golden Corral over on Lorna Road.
I've eaten
him
that
and
one.
the late Tommy Cummings went and just gorged ourselves to death.
You know, I went, was shortly, that was a dead hit right there, wasn't it? It was shortly after we moved here. So that would have been around 2001, 2002. I went to that, and I was a little surprised at the price point. Got to be honest with you.
Hey, Golden Corral?
Yeah.
Well, it's like $7 for everything you need.
It
right?
wasn't then. It had gotten expensive.
I don't know. I hadn't been to one in a while.
What do you think the goal? I wonder if I can
I
find it.
would think the Golden Corral all-you-can-eat buffet is $14.99 because everything has gone up. Everything is doubled.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's.
They call it Bidenomics,
between
don't
like
they?
$15 and $17 for that now.
They call it that in the football games for sure.
And it looks worse than ever.
Yeah, I'm not a big buffet guy, Tyler, myself.
You don't want to go to that chocolate fountain they've got?
I don't. I like quality over quantity.
I asked people, hey, can I borrow your spoon to get the chocolate out of the chocolate fountain? That was a joke.
I can't find the price online, but I thought I remember it had gotten fairly expensive.
So singer Lily Allen has revealed that she makes more money each month by selling pictures of her feet on OnlyFans than she does through her Spotify streams. Now, we had one of our employees up here wanted to sell her feet for a while. You remember?
That's right. I do remember that. Yep.
She never did it, though. Somebody talk her out of it?
I don't know. I mean, to me, I guess there's a creep factor that comes along with it, but they don't know it's me. They just know it's my feet.
I had no problem with her doing it.
Like,
hey, to each their own. If you can get money for selling your feet pics, knock it out. It's not like it's a gateway, right?
No, but I'm going to guess it ends up with, all right, do this with your feet. And then that's where we cross the creep line. I'm not just sending out random photos of my feet. I'm taking requests on, I'd like to see you do with those feet. I'd like to see you get at, I don't know how you finish that sentence, but you finish that sentence the creepiest way possible.
Yeah, but somebody was like, hey, I need you to pick up a Barbie doll with your feet. Done.
Oh, I do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah. I imagine there's also like wear these socks for 2 weeks and never wash them sort of deal
you
too.
could say you did that, you know.
Yeah.
Allen
Either way,
started
it's
her
gross.
OnlyFans account over the summer after her pedicurist told her feet that she had nice feet and could make money and cash off of them. She revealed on an episode of her podcast, Miss Me, she shared that she has a perfect 5-star rating on WikiFeet, the foot fetish website that collects the rates pictures of celebrities' feet. After posting pictures of her feet and a link to her OnlyFans account on X, Allen responded to a person who criticized her by saying, quote, imagine being one of the biggest pop stars in Europe and being reduced to this. Allen clapped back and wrote, imagine being an artist and having nearly 8 million monthly listeners on Spotify, but earning more money from having 1,000 people subscribe to pictures of your feet. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Now, the singer charges $10 per month on her OnlyFans account, which would come out to at least $10,000 monthly based on her subscriber count. That is pretty amazing. Now, Spotify pays approximately 0.3% to 0.5% per stream to artists. So less than a penny.
Is this her actual feet?
This is one of the pictures she posted. This is what she's selling. Is that foot worth money to you guys?
I mean, the foot's okay. Now, her left small toe.
It's overlapping.
It's popped out.
But here's my thing, Tyler.
She's got those Hydra toes in the middle. They're exactly the same.
We've discussed this on the show at length because of Dunaway's foot situation here.
I would bet, too, and I'm not exaggerating, I would bet that he has an account of somebody's feet.
I'm just saying, like, the greatest foot of all time, if you told me this is the greatest female foot of all time, it does nothing for me.
I agree.
But if it's a bad foot,
I don't know what a good foot is supposed to look like.
That's what I'm with you. I'm with you on that, Tyler. My only thing is if it's a really bad foot, I'm going to be like, yo.
Yeah, I mean, those feet are fine.
Yeah, I don't love them, don't hate them. They are feet, right? Feet do nothing for me.
See, that's why I wish Jim hadn't already left for Vegas. My plan was to get his take on this.
Yeah, this is an excellent story for Jim. You did not know he was leaving early today, to your defense. I cannot believe people pay to see those feet. I really cannot. And that might be the best female feed in England. I have no earthly idea, right? I've got no measure here. But it does nothing for me even if they are.
It's crazy. We had a random conversation about a lot of different things heading up to Huntsville yesterday. And one of the things that we talked about was the article that I came across that there is an OnlyFans girl that is retired, and she did 33 total videos, according to this article, and she made $67 million.
How many videos?
33 videos, $67 million. I don't know how that's possible, but that is quite the return, isn't it?
Yeah.
That person had to be famous before, right?
I don't know.
Oh.
I'm going to say those videos probably, it's not fair for me to say this, but your assumption would be those videos probably took you in some places you didn't really want to go as that person.
I'm going to say she probably wasn't juggling with her feet.
No, I don't think she was.
Probably juggling other things.
She's probably not breaking down Bible verses. I'm sure the videos are some things she probably otherwise would not want to do, but did it for the money.
Probably so.
That's a tough way to earn money. That's trash.
Brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right. Look, if you're in the market right now, whether you're buying and you just want some advice, there is no cost or obligation to talk to our friends at Mortgage Right. So remember, whether you're looking for your final home, your first home, whether you have a big down payment or need 100% financing, Mortgage Right, one-stop shop. Visit them online, mortgageright.com. You can call 205-900-7200.
Did you know we have the best coach? I'm pulling up the number right now in the NFL. Best coach.
Mike McDaniel?
In the history of the game against the point spread. Did you know that?
Right now?
Yep. He's currently coaching in the NFL, and I'm trying to pull the record up.
Let me guess.
Okay.
Now, is it a small sample size?
No, it's a very large sample size. A very large sample size.
Oh, it's probably Andy Reid.
It is not. You would think, right?
Yeah.
It is not Andy Reid. This is from David Payne Purdom, who covers gambling for ESPN. This coach, against the spread in his career, the best mark of any coach with at least 20 games in the Super Bowl era. So any coach that's coached more than 20 games, or at least 20 games in the Super Bowl era, this guy against the point spread is the best ever.
Kevin O'Connell?
And it is a coach you say is actually not a very good coach.
Dan Campbell.
It is Dan Campbell. Even though good coaches win, great coaches cover, you say this guy's not even a good coach.
Yeah, well, look, he's a good coach for what they do. His gambles pay off.
Yeah.
Now, when some of those gambles don't pay off, we'll see what happens. But, hell, everything he's done,
everything.
Now, they blew second half in NFC Championship game against San Francisco, but everything he's done has worked.
He has now coached 70 games as an NFL coach. How many wins against the spread would you say that's really
75?
good? 70 games.
70 games.
How many wins against the spread would you say is really good? This is against the spread now. It's not straight up, obviously. This is hard to do in the NFL.
Yeah, 40 and 30 would be great.
He's 45 and 25.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
It is. I was stunned by that. The Lions coach Dan Campbell, according to David Payton Purdom, 45 and 25 against the point spread in his career. Best mark of any coach with at least 20 games of the Super Bowl era.
Those coaches, by the way, in college football are Deion Sanders, John Summerall. Deion covered this week.
Summerall covered this week.
Summerall covered this week. And Kirk Signetti. So the three top covers covered again.
Well, there you go. That's college and NFL. So if I'm just at mybookie.ag having a little fun, I probably benefit from playing Dan Campbell against the spread, whatever it is. Kirk Signetti, John Summerall, and who was the other?
And Deion Sanders.
Deion Sanders. I'm going to win more often than not with those guys.
Yep.
45 and 25, I should say. If you had just...
if you just bet those four and just worst case get a split.
I know.
Play a little juice and maybe you get another 4-0.
Yep. That is the show today. We appreciate you joining us. You and Aaron Suttle's about to record a fresh Bama and Bourbon. Am I correct?
It was a lot of fun at the Rabbit Hole doing a live version last week in Tuscaloosa. But yeah, we're about to get back to the basics and we will be shooting one of those out. Forrester will edit it up. Get it out tonight at some point. But yeah, Bama and Bourbon coming up shortly on Roll Tide Pod.
So make sure you are liking and subscribing everywhere we are. Cover Crimson YouTube channel right here on The Next Round as well. We will be back with you tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. Thanks for watching us and listening to us on The Next Round.